The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2801. But they can't act rashly yet. Have to wait for a message from the spies. Wait again. After waiting for 10 minutes, if there is no message, we will take the initiative. Everyone settled down. Waiting quietly. 1 minute. 2 minutes. 5 minutes. Shoo, hoo. Suddenly a signal bomb lifted into the air and exploded brightly in the air. Kill. Rumble. Then came the screams of killing all over the mountains and the shaking of the earth and the shaking of the mountains. In their eyes, figures appeared in the south and north. It's killing here. There is an ambush among them. They are being made dumplings. This is what they never thought of anyway. What's the situation? What's wrong? Lanja mountain is very steep. Things are extremely narrow exits. Now the export of things has long been blocked. On the north and south, reinforcements from the Tian's mansion came to kill again. They have nowhere to go. Can only resist. But when the incident happened suddenly, they were caught off guard. Numerous damages in one time. This is not a mechanized team led by Xiao Lijun. This is really super strong. Among them, Ye Qingtian and Ye Zhantian led the team. Strong and terrible. The screams shook the sky for a while, the blood dripped, and the bones became mountains. It's only a matter of time before the team ambushing in Lanja mountain in the lab of the gods is completely overthrown. The other side. The lab of the gods had just notified the undercover army behind Xiao Lijun's department. Listen to the offensive signal from his side and attack again. Of course, how did they know that these undercover army had all been eliminated and suppressed? Let the Leviathans attack. Give an order. The Leviathans began to charge Xiao Lijun's battlefield. Everyone in Xiao Lijun's department regards death as home. Ready for the entire army to be overthrown. Want to break through here, have you asked me? At this moment, a figure suddenly appeared. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2802. This is something that no one thought of. Including everyone in Xiao Lijun's department. All dumbfounded. Know that reinforcements are coming. No one can think of it. Who is this? But when this person landed, everyone see it clearly. Young Master Tian's. In times of crisis, he had to go out. But it just so happened that he also completed the retreat. For him at this stage, it is impossible that King Kong does not destroy the 9th layer of magical power. He can only stabilize the 8th floor in a purely pure state, which is considered a success. Now he has initially achieved the task assigned to him by the master. Daxia needs him again. Marshal Tian's is here. There was cheers from the audience. Although there is only one person, Tian's young master, everyone seems to have taken a reassurance. Buzzing. There were trembling sounds between heaven and earth. The terrible fluctuations caused the Leviathans to stop for a while. I saw the Marshal of Tian's turned golden, and even more halo appeared. King Kong is not bad for magic. 8th floor. This is the supreme realm. Where can anyone reach this state? Seeing everyone exclaiming again and again. This also makes everyone confident. The Marshal Tians single-handedly killed directly to the Leviathan group. The Leviathans also began to attack the Marshal Tians, and the huge claws crashed down. Before Xiao Lijun's mecha army could not withstand such a blow. But when it hit the young Commander Tians, just clang. Did not cause any harm. Leviathans are originally intelligent creatures, self-conscious. They were also very surprised when they saw that Wu did harm to the Marshal of Tians. On the contrary, the terrible power erupted from the young commander of Tians, and he overwhelmed a Leviathan. This is something that has never happened before. Boom! Boom! The Leviathans began to attack the Marshal Tians frantically, using all means and weapons. Even the energy beams bombarded one after another. It's just that the Marshal of Tians has the 8th layer of diamonds that are not bad, and he is not afraid of their attacks. One person temporarily blocked the Leviathan's offensive. The main reason is that the Leviathans were unable to break through his incorruptible body. But the problem also appeared. The Marshal Tians couldn't really hurt Leviathan. Not to mention the destruction of Leviathan. They are too strong. It's as if they also have the incorruptible body of King Kong. The Lab of the Gods looked at the situation here, too, especially anxious, if Leviathan's attack did not go smoothly. The undercover army in the rear could not attack either. No legal action is also allowed on the number 76 forbidden area. Waiting for this wave. Nothing. No matter how powerful he is, he can't last long. King Kong is not bad at the 8th level of the magical skill, and the defense is amazing. Leviathan has nothing to do with him. But he can't hurt Leviathan. He can't stop it for long. He will be captured soon. Let Leviathan attack quickly. At the same time let the undercovers attack from behind. Mr. X is very calm. But what he said was wrong. Tian's Marshal only temporarily stopped Leviathan by virtue of his fierce life. But he will not cause fatal damage to Leviathan after all, plus there are too many Leviathans. A full 800. A tall individual. Marshal Tian's really can't stop it for long. Soon Leviathan rushed past Major Tian's defense. He really couldn't stop so many at once. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2803. Fire. However, the Marshal Tians immediately sent a signal to Xiao Lijun and the others. No matter what the strength of the weapon, he couldn't hurt his King Kong indestructible body. Therefore, coverage fire bombing can be carried out with confidence. And Tian's Marshal did his best to stop them. Boom boom boom. Xiao Lijun gave an order. Countless weapons all fired. After all, this is the southern base, and everything is ready. Everything is matched, and the weapons and equipment are mature. I don't know how much stronger than the position built before. So all kinds of weapons came out. They can also cooperate with each other to form a line of fire after another. Covered bombing against Leviathan. This was also the most violent bombardment. Leviathan was really blocked. Under this artillery fire, even the scales of the Leviathans were somewhat damaged. Destroy all Daxia's bases, don't leave any of them. Mr. X was angry and ordered directly. Before, they figured out all the deployment configurations of Daxia. For example, major bases and various airports are all under their control. All deployments in the current Southern Territory theater are transparent to them. For example, what weapon is in that position, even the command room. Therefore, Mr. X is about to paralyze all the bases in the Southern Territory theater. By then, the weapon that Xiao Lijun's most relied on will be equivalent to more than half of its failure. The weapon system they are best at will not come in handy. Boom boom boom. The Leviathans began to fight back. A terrifying wave of energy began to bombard and destroy the base. Many weapon systems were destroyed one by one. Xiao Lijun suffered heavy losses here. The death squads have been gnashing their teeth, they have always wanted to go up and show their skills. But there is no chance. Xiao Lijun's face was full of pain. Seeing that the base is half destroyed. Mr. X remote command, quick, quick. Let the undercover army start attacking from behind. He was thinking about the scene of the number 76 Forbidden Land God immediately appearing in his mind. At this moment, Lucifer sent a message, Mr. X seems to be a little bit wrong. I just contacted the undercover behind, but I can't get in touch. Yes. All the undercover agents have lost contact. Lost. A bad news came. Ah? What's the situation? Lost the connection? Isn't the contact still in front? Why did you lose contact all of a sudden? What's the situation? Mr. X was stunned. There was a thump in his heart. This is going to happen. Check it out. Go check it out for me. Something is going to happen. Mr. X's face changed drastically. By the way, what happened to the Battle of Lanja Mountain? What stage is it going on? Mr. X asked. He felt that something might happen. Everything must go wrong. Yes. Our spies in Kunlun Academy have been receiving information for a long time. What's the situation? Not only that, even the army ambushing in Lanja Mountain has no news. Will something really happen? Right. Everyone was panicking. Check. Quickly check it out for me. If something goes wrong, it will be troublesome. The haze hung between the people in the laboratory of the gods. In fact, they are now at the base in Beijing. Have been waiting. They can't go out until there are results. But now everyone has the urge to go out. However, after a few minutes, suddenly, the earth-shaking shout came. The rear of the base in the southern theater. A large number of people are here. The army led by Zhang Ye is here. At first they encountered a wave of attacks, and they had to change the route and then change the route. But later, these dead men seemed to have evaporated. All disappeared one by one. At first they thought it was the Anbu led by Hong Qing Kang. But Hong Qing Kang also wondered that he and Anbu could solve at most 1/3. There is no way for most of them. They are also very puzzled. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2804. Why did so many dead men suddenly disappear? The army led by Zhang Ye didn't have time to think about it, and was eager to support its south. No, it's already here. When I saw that the undercover army appeared behind, it was Daxia's supporting army. The lab of the gods is completely dumbfounded. What's the situation? Didn't they send so many dead men to harass? How can they come here? This is incredible. Where is the problem? What is the situation? What's the matter? Mr. X kept asking questions. It's just that no one responded. Everyone is in silence. Daxia actually has the momentum of the reverse. Even if their reinforcements arrive? Can they stop Leviathan? Launch all the Leviathan and attack me. Crazy! Shouted Mr. X. Yes. Understand. The Leviathans immediately launched the strongest attack. Some attacks that have never been used are all used. Although Daxia reinforcements have arrived. But the loss is quite tragic. Such an unprecedented attack method made Daxia unable to defend at all. Leviathans are advancing quickly. On the contrary, it is faster than before. This is also the strategy of the God's Lab. In the absence of a large army, Leviathan is absolutely not required to be truly powerful. Now I have encountered a large force. Immediately use Leviathan's devastating means. Perform a terrible blow. So that Leviathan pressed up across the board. Xiao Lijun's tribe and Zhang Yi's tribe converged, but they were beaten into an army. Unimaginable. Right. What about Lanja Mountain? What happened? Mr. X sees the effect of the attack here. Immediately asked about the battle situation in Lanja Mountain. There is still no message. But it should have been a match. I guess there is no time to respond to us. Yes, there is a high probability. The battle at Lanja Mountain was quite fierce. In addition to the dead men, there are also strong men from the major bases of the God's laboratory to participate. But they were made dumplings. Numerous casualties. A few hours later, the whole army was overthrown. However, Tian's mansion and the ancient Garrison clan were also badly injured. Despite the attack again, the opponent is the powerhouse of the God's Lab, although not the main force. It is also super strong. This battle was fought down. Even Ye Qingtian, Ye Zhantian, and others were injured. Let alone other. Even the students of Kunlun College were a little depressed. I thought that after a few months of tempering, their strength has greatly increased, and then they will definitely kill the quartet when they come outside. However, everyone who encountered the powerhouses in the laboratory of the gods was injured, even struggling. If it weren't for the top powerhouses in Tian's mansion, they are here. I'm afraid they will have to explain all of them here. But they are still useful and contributed a lot. After the injury, everyone looked depressed. Your own strength is so weak? How did they know that as soon as they came out, they encountered the most difficult enemy? They have performed very well. It can even be said that they can survive in the hands of this group of people. It is already something worth showing off. Yin Zhengping and the others were frightened. They watched as the ambushing army was killed. Well, now we support to the front line. Hurry, hurry. After counting the casualties, everyone rushed to the front without stopping. Here is the laboratory of the gods. Soon I received a message from Lanja Mountain. The big thing is bad. A message comes from Lanja Mountain. Ask for support. They were attacked from both sides by the army of the Tian's Mansion and the ancient Garrison clan. There were heavy casualties. The Lanja Mountain army is about to be overthrown. Only then did they receive an urgent message. However, this is at least half an hour ago. That means that at this moment, the army ambushing in Lanja Mountain has been completely overthrown. Everyone's faces are as deep as water. I didn't expect such a thing to happen. I was actually under the control of others. What a shame. More and more bad news. Mr. X is going crazy. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2805. What happened? All his efforts have been abolished? What happened to Lanja Mountain? How come the whole army is overthrown? It shouldn't be. Impossible. The spies have been reporting their whereabouts. They also sent the powerhouses in the laboratory of the gods, although they were all marginal. But that is also quite powerful. How come the whole army is overthrown? Can't figure it out. Can't figure it out at all. Now it seems that Daxia is prepared. Especially Tian's mansion. They probably knew about this group of spies and deliberately used them to discover us. I guess the Lanja Mountain ambush was exposed early. It was attacked. By the way, didn't the ancient Garrison clan separated from them early? It stands to reason that they have come to support long ago. But there is no such thing. That can only show one problem: the ancient Garrison clan and Tian's mansion are acting, they are deliberately separated, creating a false impression. In fact, they are aiming at our ambush in Lanja Mountain. Now this situation is definitely destroyed by these two parties. NS. Soon, everyone analyzed it. This is probably the case. Mr. X was furious. Damn it. Daxia is actually prepared. All this was beyond their expectations. Up to now, the model made by the brain of God is completely wrong. Just received the message: the undercover army we arranged behind Xiao Lijun's department has been overthrown. A total of 7 strongholds, all died tragically, and no one survived. From the traces of the scene, either Daxia used a destructive weapon to give a destructive blow, which caused the entire army to be overthrown, or there was a superpower to destroy everything. At present, it is more inclined to the latter situation. After all, there is no trace of a destructive weapon being activated. Hear, hear. Everyone was shocked in a cold sweat. Too frightening. Another bad news. Could it be Daxia's 2 types of existence? Lucifer asked. It shouldn't be, but this possibility is not ruled out. Mr. X's face was pale. Cold sweat broke out, and his whole body was shaking. Their layout in the rear has all been wiped out. This is over. How to do? It really doesn't work. Shall we come forward? Swallow Daxia in one bite. The Clown Emperor, Lucifer, and others are eager to try. They have long wanted to go out for a fight. Just suffer from no chance. Yet, we are in the capital now. How about directly taking the empty capital? Said the sea demon. No. The more so, the less we can go out. Dasya feels a little unfathomable now. I don't know what other cards they have. What's more, we won't be able to use the capital. All firepower will be attracted to us at that time. The acquisition of the capital should be handed over to Forbidden Land number 76. We only came out to harvest. After they lost both sides. Mr. X killed everyone's thoughts. Let them all stay honestly. So far, in our layout, only the Tian's superintendent has been let out to come in handy. Mr. X began to sigh. Fortunately, the layout has been so long. This turned out to be the end in the end. Fortunately, we have an invincible army of Leviathan. So far, Daxia has no way to do it. Next, let Leviathan go crazy. Launch an unprecedented attack. After receiving the order, Leviathan released more and more hidden skills. Daxia suffered heavy losses here. Seeing that the base in the Southern Territory Theater could no longer be defended. Almost everyone is desperately resisting. Now the Leviathan they see is the real Leviathan, and the offensive methods are full. Even the Marshal of Tians, who possessed the incorruptible body of King Kong, was beaten steadily. The Leviathans are equipped with new weapons from the Lab of the Gods. Terrifying. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2806. At this time. Report. We found the trail of Forbidden Land number 76. They finally appeared. And they appeared directly in the southern border of Great Xia. The God's Lab received the message. Yes. That's great. When everyone heard the God of Forbidden Land number 76, everyone went crazy. Finally waited until this moment. They disappeared for so long and really appeared. I want to come to Maya Industry and the Bible Organization, partly in the southern border, and partly in the capital. Hearing this group of people appeared, Mr. X felt a little more relieved. Okay, inform Dr. Dark and his legion that they are ready. The God of number 76 has appeared. God? What if your natural enemy nemesis is an ordinary person? I don't know if you know whether it will collapse in the future. Mr. X smiled and said. But let's take a look at the performance of number 76 Forbidden Land God. They will definitely appear behind Xiao Lijun's and Zhang Yi's. Everyone in the Lab of the Gods was very sure. After all, in their expectation, the God of Forbidden Land number 76 would appear behind Daxia in a surprise attack. On the one hand, it is the capital, on the other hand, it is the marching army. Absolute. They are all waiting. That's right. Where is the specific location of the Forbidden Land God No 76? Mr. X asked. Intelligence personnel are just about to locate. Suddenly the situation was discovered at this time. Behind Leviathan's army, majestic figures suddenly appeared. They are like superheroes. Fall out of thin air. They are holding a handful of artifacts in their hands. The biblical organization led by the evil god and the Mayan industrial army led by Yehudeo appeared. Disappeared for most of the day, suddenly appeared, turned out to be behind the Leviathan army. This appearance caught everyone off guard. The evil gods brought out all the artifacts. In addition to the artifacts that Levi Garrison personally refined, there were also all artifacts that they refined using advanced technology later. This is an artifact refined from various resources in Forbidden Land number 76. It was exactly the same as that used by the gods in Forbidden Land number 76 at the time. The power is huge, the artifact is out, and the sky is broken. Underworld God and others suddenly appeared, directly using the artifact. A series of powerful attacks began to bombard these Leviathans from behind. Shit. Patter. Under the powerful power of the artifact, the scales on Leviathan's body were cut apart, or burst into pieces under the powerful power. The body under the scales was also greatly damaged. Many Leviathans roared after being attacked. Boom! Many Leviathans also fell directly. Some have their heads directly knocked out by powerful artifacts, or their limbs are knocked out. In short, under a powerful attack, the Leviathans have suffered heavy losses. This is also unprecedented. See this scene. Everyone was dumbfounded. This is unprecedented. Xiao Lijun and the others were excited. Fighting with Leviathan for a long time, apart from knocking down the protective shield and hindering them from moving forward, it did not cause any substantial damage at all. But now, as soon as the reinforcements appeared, they caused such a heavy blow to Leviathan. Thousands of soldiers were stunned. They had never seen Leviathan's scales being cut apart. Finally, see what's under the scales. There was no chance at all before. Excited. So excited. Seeing Leviathan so embarrassed, everyone shouted. On the other hand, look at the laboratory of the gods. All of them are stupid. In their eyes, the group of gods in Forbidden Land No 76 appeared. But the result did not follow what they thought. This group of people appeared behind Xia to attack. Instead, he appeared behind their Leviathan to attack, causing huge losses. All of them were stunned for a while. At a loss. In particular, Mr. X was standing there like a zombie. Why? Why is it all? Can't figure it out. I really can't figure it out. Why? Shouldn't these gods of Forbidden Land number 76 want to swallow Daxia in one bite? The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2807. Shouldn't we attack Daxia at this time? Why did you start with Leviathan instead? Shouldn't this be a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity for the guys in Forbidden Land number 76? How could they? Did you wear a pair of pants with Daxia? Impossible. Wearing a pair of trousers, he also formed a Bible organization to quietly expand its forces and cultivate its own seedlings in Daxia. The Key Gods Laboratory has sufficient evidence to prove the existence of Forbidden Land God number 76. And their motivation to swallow Daxia in one bite. Everything is justified. But what is happening now is against common sense. Makes them confused. A group of people looked at the real-time images sent back, all in a state of confusion. I can't react for a long time. In the battlefield, the sudden appearance of reinforcements dealt a heavy blow to Leviathan, and almost all Leviathan suffered injuries to some degree. The opportunity is here. Xiao Lijun's eyes lit up. The death squad listened to my order and rushed forward. Dry all your weapons on their wounds at close range. Remember. Minimize casualties. If you don't have to be a last resort, don't choose to die together. Now we have a great chance of winning. Brothers, charge! It's time for us to do our best. Thousands of people in the death squad rushed up. Like a scourge. The other ministries started to cover. Don't let Leviathan have a chance to fight back. Xiao Lijun and Zhang Ye organized a large force to cover. Several more robots were dispatched. Follow the death squad to act together. After the death squad arrived, they desperately touched Leviathan's body at close range. Throw in all the destructive weapons equipped in advance, or tie them to the wounds of the Leviathans. Boom! Boom! In the next broad battlefield, various explosions broke out. One by one Leviathan was severely damaged. The robots on Daxia's side are directly attached to Leviathan, and these small machines have their own explosive devices to destroy them. It exploded directly. Another wave of losses. With the cooperation of the Death Squad and the Bible Organization and other reinforcements, Leviathan's army suffered too much damage. Was beaten to no resistance. Of course, thanks to the power of the artifact. Otherwise, Daxia has no way to deal with Leviathan. Even a strong man like Tian's Shenshui couldn't hurt Leviathan at all. But the evil gods are different. First of all, they drank the blood of the gods, and their physique and strength changed in every way. The second is this powerful artifact. It's terrifying, everything can be cut. No fear of Leviathan's defense at all. The most important thing is the artifact. Ye Wudao and Ye Lingtian held the artifact, they were invincible, pressing Leviathan to fight. In the Battle of Lanja Mountain, didn't Kunlun Academy possess a magical tool? That artifact has brought great fighting power to Kunlun College. Shooting too many powerhouses in the lab of the gods. Not the key to turning the tide of the battle. But at least it can account for 1/5 of the role. Originally considered in the lab of the gods, these artifacts would become the key to killing Daxia. I didn't expect to use it on them. Brothers. The shortcoming of these giant creatures is that they have an energy core, right in the middle of their bodies. Only by destroying the energy core can they really be destroyed. Xiao Lijun and others immediately reminded. Everyone hears it. Hit the energy core. Next, everyone worked together to fight Leviathan's body and fight to get rid of the energy core. But at this time Leviathan also began to fight back. Daxia was also seriously injured. But at least the one who has the upper hand, at the same time. The other 2,200 Leviathans were in groups of 100, raging in various places in Daxia. Although there are not so many gatherings at once. But 100 of them are also strenuous to deal with. Daxia suffered heavy injuries everywhere. Was breached one line after another. But soon the reinforcements from Tian's mansion and the ancient Garrison clan came. They also dispersed, cooperating with Hong King Kang's Anbu and other strong men to defensively block. Just when the Leviathans launched the most violent attack. Suddenly shouts came from behind. Immediately after heavy firepower came, they began to bombard the Leviathans from the rear. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2808. There are more and more people in the rear, and more various fighters and various machines. And the flag is flying. Judging from the banner, there are star countries, mainly the Samsung group led by Lee Sung-min and the major forces. There is Dongdao, all kinds of strong come out together. There is a giant elephant country. There is a war bear country. There is a war leopard country. One after another foreign reinforcements arrived. They also took out their whole cards and the strong to support Daxia. Although Leviathan is strong, the number of available reinforcements is large, and the weapons are complex, many of which are unknown to the gods' laboratory. It can threaten Leviathan to a certain extent. Shocked. Completely dumbfounded. Daxia was also dumbfounded here. When did the foreign reinforcements come? Especially seeing Star Country and East Island, I was even more dumbfounded. These have always had a bad relationship with Daxia. At the time of Daxia's crisis, if you don't stab in the back, can you still come to support? An unprecedented first experience. Therefore, they are dumbfounded. Seeing more and more reinforcements in the rear, they are going crazy. Even the War Eagle nation sent people? What's the situation? Is this the whole world coming? Why did they come to support? It's incredible. There is no reason. The other side. The Lab of the Gods did not respond to the sudden attack on Leviathan by the Bible organization. Now another bad news is coming. Countries all over the world have united and started to support Daxia. Whether it is a good friend with Daxia or a bad friend, even the Warhawk country, which has always had hatred, has come to support it. Incredible. Unimaginable. After the support army from all over the world came. Give Leviathan a heavy blow and suppress all Leviathan for a while. Xiao Lijun's department even informed Leviathan's core weakness. Now everyone went crazy and started attacking Leviathan. Leviathan must be destroyed. Leviathan fell into a besieged situation. Puff! The anxious Mr. X couldn't help it anymore and spouted out a mouthful of blood donation. The situation has taken a turn for the worse. Completely reversed. They began to fight back. This is what the lab of the gods didn't think of anyway. Leviathan failed. So how do they plan to proceed? Everyone's body is shaking. Planned for so long. Unexpectedly, it was such a result. No one wants to bear it. Crazy. Everyone is going crazy. Mr. X's complexion is extremely pale. This is already a defeat for him. It was a complete mess. If the two types of existence in Daxia's legend appeared, give them such a blow. They can accept it. But now all this is unacceptable. What shall we do next? Lucifer began to ask. First, tell the chief priest immediately about this matter. Second, let all Leviathans retreat. Assemble in this position of the sea. Third, we are all dispatched. Dare to support Daxia, I will let you know what a massacre is. Mr. X was completely angry. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2809. He led the core members of the Lab of the Gods, except the main God division, from the secret base in Beijing. That is below Yanlongwei. But at this time, there was a voice, I finally came out. It's been a long time for you. Wrong. It was Levi Garrison who made the sound. Why did he go during this time? It's a mistake in retreat. However, the location of his retreat is very particular, just near the base of the God's laboratory. Below the Yanlongwei base. Today's Levi Garrison has passed the level of superficial fist and kicks for this basic exercise, and has further penetrated into the realm of mind. Therefore, he will not make any movement, and others will not be able to find him. But on the contrary, if there is any movement in the laboratory of the gods, he can still find out. After all, it has always been. The purpose he arranged for himself was to stare at the laboratories of the gods and use all his power to deal with the main gods. In his opinion, the main divine division is definitely in the base of the capital. So he arranged everything else to other people, and he only needed to stare at the base in the capital. Therefore, he retreats here. So no one can find Levi Garrison. If you could find the location of Levi Garrison's retreat, then you would have found the base of the gods' laboratory earlier. This is actually a super difficult thing. After the accident, the gods of Tians can't find it. He explained everything before the retreat. But where he could think of it, just a wave of trials in the lab of the gods disrupted all his plans. The safety island stopped. The defensive line was withdrawn. Daxia was still slack throughout, and took his previous words and instructions as wind. Lead to such serious consequences now. However, Levi Garrison also expected to fail. Originally, the plan for the Lab of the Gods was 3 months, but he moved the time forward to 2 months. In his plan, no matter how soon it is, it will not be more than 2 months. But where can I get the horror of Dr. Dark? Exceeding everyone's expectations, even the main divine division. It turned out to be 1.5 months ahead of schedule. The plan was opened in a month and a half. In fact, when the Leviathans attacked aggressively, Levi Garrison felt it. He woke up. The retreat is over. From that moment on, he knew that he had made a mistake. The other party planned ahead. However, in his vision, even if all the safety islands were not repaired, they would still be in trouble. The other defenses are almost ready. But he checked and found that he was very wrong. Daxia is all messed up. Those Big Macs all attacked and came in. And the safety island stopped long ago. After checking Levi Garrison, he knew everything. I also knew that Agent Blackhawk had lost contact. But he knew it too late at this time. From the time he noticed the Big Mac, it had already entered the Great Summer. All he can do is try to remedy it as much as possible. However, he was already at the main base of the god's laboratory, and he couldn't leave. He wants to stare at the true power of the god's lab. So he can only think of other ways. He has not been able to contact the underworld god and Yehudeo. But he can still contact. In other words, he can control it. The 13 variants on the 13th, there are 4 King Kong. Although all of them are not together. However, King Kong number 1 and Mutant number 1 happened to be in Daxia because they pretended to be the deputy chief. Therefore, who solved the harassing dead men that everyone wondered. Hong King Kang's dark part was only solved a little bit. Of course it is King Kong 1 and Variant 1. These two are in the category of superpowers. It's no problem to deal with some dead men's spies without knowing it. No one even found out, even in the laboratories of the gods. After all, it was originally used to deal with the laboratory of the gods. As for the undercover army gathered in Jiangbei, it was the Huoyun Thulhu that Levi Garrison had explained before the retreat. Once there is a danger, it can be resolved appropriately. Just as this group of undercover agents gathered in Jiangbei, Huoyun Thulhu took action and solved them all. As for the support of the Bible organization and Mayan industry, etc., it is normal. Before Levi Garrison retreat, he explained clearly. It is for them to do their best to deal with this disaster. Use all the cards that should be used. The ancient Garrison clan and Tian's mansion are also normal here. The ambush of encircling and annihilating the enemy is their own strategy. After all, the Kunlun Academy spies were aware of these people, except for the gods of Tian's, the dragon head god. Their own decision. As for the joint support forces of countries around the world, this was also arranged by Levi Garrison. Temporarily arranged. The 4 King Kong are originally robots. Intelligent. Levi Garrison transmitted orders to them and asked them to use smart means to gather decision makers from various countries for a meeting. Briefly describe the matter clearly. The general idea is that this group of giant creatures are of unknown origin, numerous in number, and powerful enough to be invincible. Now they are dealing with Daxia, but after swallowing Daxia, it is inevitable that they will not cause threats and damage to other countries. Maybe it will level all countries one by one. And to put it bluntly, this group of giant creatures can even level off in Daxia, let alone other countries. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2810. Especially a few neighboring countries are even more afraid. The flames of war have spread to them. This group of giant creatures suddenly turned. They still understand the truth about lip and tooth cold. In addition, the origin of this group of creatures is unknown, and it is not known who is behind the scenes, or that there is no behind the scenes at all. Levi Garrison and Janaeying Nation knew that it was the laboratory of the gods behind them, but the others didn't know. So this is the point of panic. No one can guarantee that it won't hit him. Another point is that the interests of all parties are involved. If Daxia exists intact, it will restrain many forces and keep the situation in a peaceful state. Once Daxia has a problem here, many problems may arise. It will involve all aspects of interest issues, and even survival issues. Therefore, for many parties, Daxia must have nothing to do. For example, the nearby East Island, Star Country, and so on. They first stood up and said that they must support Daxia. With the first, there is the second. More and more forces expressed their support for Daxia. The rest must be involved. Supporting Daxia is actually to protect yourself. Daxia's hostile forces actually don't need support, but what can all parties do if they look at you? You can't antagonize everyone, and you can't vote if you vote. Can only promise to support. The most depressing is the War Eagle country. They don't even need to fear the lab of the gods, let alone Leviathan. But with all the forces in the world looking at you, you can only agree to support. Otherwise, it is inevitable that everyone would not suspect that it was the ghost of the Warhawk nation. And these Leviathans were made by the Warhawk nation. In order to avoid becoming a public enemy of the world, the Eagle nation had to agree to support it. They don't want to be put on a hat. I don't want to be a public enemy. Therefore, it will happen later that the major countries and forces around the world come to support Daxia. In fact, all of this was a meeting that Levi Garrison arranged for King Kong on the 2nd, 3rd, and 4th to convene the major decision makers from all over the world. Let them have no reason not to come to support. This is what Levi Garrison is so good about. Calculate every party, even if it is a war eagle country, so that they can't refuse support. The whole world is coming to support. It is easy to suppress this group of Leviathans. After Levi Garrison's retreat ended, the strength of the whole person has gone up to another level. Especially when this kind of crisis is coming, it puts Levi Garrison under pressure, and it is easier for him to improve and break through. It is a bit unimaginable that Levi Garrison is so strong that he can continue to be strong. If Huo Yunthulhu knew this, I would be shocked to drop his chin. Can it continue to grow stronger? Although he is also practicing this exercise, he knows that this exercise has an infinite end. But in his opinion, the end should be Levi Garrison's realm. He is working hard in the direction of Levi Garrison. But if he knew that Levi Garrison could still make a big improvement, he was afraid that he would collapse. After the retreat, Levi Garrison stayed at the base of the God's laboratory. He was waiting for the real action of the God's lab. Especially the main priest behind. He had long wanted to meet the Dark Doctor for a while. Now it's finally time to wait. As soon as the base of the lab of the gods was opened, Mr. X led all the troops and equipment in the lab of the gods to be dispatched. Levi Garrison stared in the dark, and looked forward to it. Want to see how strong the main priest is? Is it truly capable of being called the gods? He is ready to shoot. The divine tribulation in his hand is already hungry and thirsty. This artifact was cast to deal with the laboratory of the gods. It means the catastrophe of the gods. He is ready for a big battle. At the same time, he has sent instructions to make the variant number 13 and the 4 King Kong rush here. Meet this big battle. Time passed by every minute and every second. The large forces in the lab of the gods left the base one after another. After half an hour, Levi Garrison was disappointed. Where is the main priest? People? The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2811. Why isn't it coming out yet? Although the team of the God's Laboratory is super powerful, it is stronger than the ancient garrison. Clan of the Bailong clan of Tian's mansion. Picking out one at random will make it too strong. All the major forces in Daxia are crushed and killed. Powerful ones comparable to Mr. X, and Lucifer the Clown the Great are even more dominant. Even some of their weapons are terrifying. The overall combat effectiveness is terrifying to the extreme. This is also the reason why Mr. X has been so slow to take action. Because they are too strong, they don't want to expose their strength in advance. It is enough to deal with these Leviathan legions of Tian's mansion. Their group of powerhouses and the main gods are waiting to deal with Daxia's two types of legendary existences. It won't be wasted at other moments. It can be seen how strong they are. But right. Far from achieving what Levi Garrison wanted. Levi Garrison was going to deal with the chief priest, that was the opponent he wanted. Therefore, Mr. X's group is meaningless to him. He also cannot expose force in this place in advance. Wasted on them. Where is the main priest? Come out faster. Levi Garrison waited anxiously. 10 minutes passed. It seemed that all the army of the God's Laboratory had come out in the capital base. There are no more people. This disappointed Levi Garrison. Sure enough, waited for a while. No one came out. And Mr. X led the army and a large number of equipment to evacuate. Could it be said that the main gods will not come out? Levi Garrison is unwilling. The real threat to the lab of the gods is still the chief priest. Nothing else to be afraid of. In other words, Levi Garrison can solve it. Therefore, Levi Garrison thought about it. Started to jump down. After wandering in the capital base of the gods' laboratory for a while, quietly entered it. He wanted to see if the main priest was among them. Along the way, was shocked by this underground castle. Advanced technology. This is unprecedented. Even Levi Garrison felt like seeing the world. Too advanced. The 10 streets of the world's major countries. But along the way, the equipment was emptied. It seems that they are going to abandon this base. Nothing will be left. Is the main priest really not here? Levi Garrison began to tremble a little. He went deep all the way. It looks like emptying everywhere. The chief priest couldn't even see the roots. Soon he probably walked the entire base all over. Came to the main control place. Levi Garrison examined it carefully. Suddenly, his face changed drastically. Not good. Levi Garrison's eyes widened, and his hair stood up. He saw a device similar to the detonation countdown in the main control place. The lab of the gods is about to abandon this base. They are completely emptied. In order to erase all traces, we must destroy this place. They want to destroy this place. Levi Garrison understood. But this time is already slow. The countdown has come. He can't avoid it. No, they are going to destroy the entire capital. At the moment when the destruction was approaching, Levi Garrison understood. After the withdrawal of their large forces from the lab of the gods, they not only wanted to erase the traces of the base, but also to destroy the entire capital. So the detonator they left here is too horrible. The power of this weapon is unprecedented. Levi Garrison felt the terrifying energy. This is the power that can turn the entire capital into purgatory. Rumble. In bursts of earth-shattering explosions, this base was destroyed. This huge explosion make the entire capital shake, everywhere like a big earthquake. Every corner of the huge capital witnessed this big explosion. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2812. The flames blazed into the sky, and the smoke enveloped most of the capital. Shocked. It was too shocking. Everyone has never seen such a scene. What is this doing? It's messed up. Everything is messed up. There was noise everywhere in the capital, and everyone stood on the street, witnessing this shocking scene. The day turns into night in an instant, and the smog is too exaggerated. In an instant, most of the sky above the capital was enveloped, and it turned into night. Except for the soaring flames, everyone can't see anything else. Rumble. But waiting for everyone's reaction, another round of bombardment came. The earth shook more terribly, and I don't know how many people were overturned directly to the ground. Everyone has experienced that kind of shaking. It seems that the world is divided into two. On the surface, it's okay, but in fact, the inside of the ground under the feet has been shattered. That's how it feels. Next, an exaggeration appeared. Cracks appeared in countless places in the capital. Below the surface of the capital seems to have suffered a devastating blow. The evacuated gods laboratory saw scenes from the real-time feedback from the capital, and everyone couldn't help but smile strangely. Wrong. Now they are about to surface. This base is going to be abandoned. So they are going to be destroyed. As for destroying the capital at the same time, it will be beneficial to the laboratories of the gods. Without any harm. But Mr. X was surprised when he looked at the current state of the capital. It's not right. It stands to reason that power is more than just this. At least it can overturn the capital. Is something wrong? At the beginning, the destruction device was arranged according to the power of destroying the capital. But at this time, Mr. X's mind was in other places, and he didn't think too much. The power is a bit small, but it has brought disasters to the capital and wiped out our traces. Well, that's it. Our goal is achieved. The others are the same. Seeing the capital exploded, they didn't want to think about it too much. Wrong. The explosive power that the capital now exhibits is far from what they expected. It can't even be compared. The power they estimated was to destroy the entire capital city from the inside to the outside, leaving no place where 1 inch was completed. It is to erase the capital from the map. But now only the base has been destroyed, and the surrounding area has been affected. The smoke has indeed enveloped more than half of the capital. But this was 1,000 miles away from what was expected. Where is the problem? Of course it was Levi Garrison. Had it not been for Levi Garrison, the capital would have been wiped out. At a critical moment, Levi Garrison discovered the conspiracy of the Lab of the Gods. It was too late for him to escape. The destruction device has been activated. Especially he knew that the power of destruction could wipe out the entire capital. He can't retreat. At the moment of the explosion, Levi Garrison showed the might of the gods. With a terrifying punch, the power of the explosion was blasted into the earth. Let the power of the explosion blast into the earth. Despite this, it was still not completely offset, and a part of the power came out, destroying the base of the gods' laboratory. The entire capital city was shaken, and the sky was covered by smog. But there is still no substantial power. The disaster did not happen. That's because most of the power was offset by Levi Garrison's punch, or broke into the earth. This was the result of the second wave of tremors in the capital, which was more exaggerated than the first. At least there were cracks in various parts of the capital. That's because Levi Garrison blasted the energy released by the explosion into the earth, raging in the earth, and triggered the movement of the mountains and the tsunami. Although the capital is now devastated. But there are almost no casualties. Levi Garrison saved the entire capital by his own power. If Levi Garrison's retreat was elsewhere, the capital must be wiped out. After all, the plan to erase the capital was arranged in advance. As long as they abandon this base, they will immediately destroy the capital. Fortunately, Levi Garrison was here. Otherwise, Dacia would really be stabbed with a severe knife. Although the power of this explosion is terrifying. But Levi Garrison came out like someone else. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2813. Not to mention that his physique has reached the point where it is against the sky. Even if the diamond is not bad, it can be blocked. Isn't the main priest here? Levi Garrison also heard about the several bases of the gods' laboratory in other places in Daxia. The capital of the capital does not exist, so the other bases will not exist. Where are they? This was the point that made Levi Garrison jealous. In his plan, he was used to deal with the chief priest. The main divine division can't come out, he is determined not to reveal his strength. Now that he lost the clue of the main gods once again, Levi Garrison was very depressed. The fear has to continue. The ruthless man who wanted to talk for a while, the Dark Doctor, didn't even come across it. Where are they all? However, the headquarters of the Lab of the Gods have been evacuated, and they will definitely make big moves. Got to keep up. At this time, the variants on the 13th all expired, and all the 4 King Kong have arrived. Levi Garrison led them to set off together. No one would have thought that these mutants and mechanical talents were Levi Garrison's biggest killer move. Look at the front-line battlefield again. The main battlefield. Leviathan was attacked completely, but the momentum could not be reversed. Dacia, together with the reinforcements, slashed their bodies as much as possible to destroy the core. However, after the Leviathans received the order to retreat, all the Leviathans actually retreated. They retreated too fast. Let the strong people of the Bible organization not react. Press it up. Hurry up. Xiao Lijun and Zhang Ye immediately gave the order, and they all pressed on. Underworld God and they rushed out first. Keep staring at the Leviathans to see where they are going to retreat. This scourge must be eliminated. Resolutely cannot keep. At the same time, on various battle lines in Daxia, the Leviathans who were suppressed by Daxia and the world support coalition began to retreat collectively. Everyone has the same idea. Resolutely eliminate all Leviathan. Resolutely cannot let go of anyone. So it all came up. Soon, Daxia regained all the lost territory. This greatly boosted Daxia's morale. After chasing Leviathan all the way, he came to the coastline of Daxia. The Leviathans at this moment have all entered the sea. I don't know what they are going to do. At this time, 3,000 Leviathans had already gathered in the designated waters of the East China Sea. After receiving a new round of instructions, they began to move. Buzzing. Amidst waves of energy fluctuations. The wounds on these Leviathans are healing quickly. The knocked out head, legs and other parts also grew out magically. Kung fu in the blink of an eye. All 3,000 Leviathans returned to normal. This is something that no one thought of. Leviathan can recover instantly. This is the power of Dr. Darkness, which was taken into consideration when Leviathan was built. Therefore, all aspects of materials and genetic technology used to make up for this defect. As long as the energy core can continuously supply energy, this group of Leviathans can recover immediately. Not only this group of Leviathans can supply each other and recover each other. Originally on the front battlefield, they can be restored. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2814. As long as it doesn't hurt the energy core, everything is fine. How can I recover quickly? This is the terrible thing about Leviathan. The God's Laboratory reserved this hand exclusively. Don't expose it yet. Wait until the critical moment to use. I must be able to hit the opponent by surprise. This trait was actually discovered by Xiao Lijun's subordinates. It's just that when they said, they had already left. Then the command post was bombed off, and all the researchers who discovered the characteristics of Leviathan were sacrificed. Xiao Lijun and the others didn't know. At the moment, Daxia coastline. Daxia's large forces and allied forces from all sides came together. After a brief greeting, everyone started to stare at the Leviathan ahead. Report. There are still 200 nautical miles ahead. All the giant creatures have gathered together. I don't know what they are doing. At this time, a message was sent from the front. Locked the position of the Leviathans. 3,000 Leviathans gathered together, which is too exaggerated. The area occupied can be too large. Such a large area of the sea is all occupied by Leviathan. People who don't know think that aliens are coming. After locking the position, everyone posted up. I want to know what it is like. All the major reinforcements allies also got together. Detector 1. Move up and see what's going on. Xiao Lijun immediately ordered. He turned to his allies and said, this thing must be eliminated. Otherwise, it will not be good for everyone. It will be a disaster for the whole world. Well, it must be destroyed. Otherwise, it will be destroyed one by one. Fortunately, there is this opportunity to let all of us join hands. Otherwise, there is really no way to deal with it, and it will be difficult for even the great power of Daxia. I don't know who suggested that everyone support Daxia together. This proposal is wonderful. Support Daxia is to protect yourself. The reinforcements from other countries nodded fiercely. I think it is very correct for everyone to support this decision together. But they have never thought about who proposed it. Who is leading this? But at this stage, no one has ever thought about it. Ignore this. When everyone remembers later, I'm afraid they will startle in a cold sweat. I am also afraid that the War Eagle nation is wondering who is taking the lead. Using some psychological techniques, the whole world has been covered in everything. The key point is that no one knows the source of these leviathans. Today, everyone is united to wipe out these Big Macs. All fear comes from lack of firepower. But now it is equivalent to the world united together. The firepower is too much. None of them are afraid. The Explorer 1 in Daxia in front has gone deep, very close to the position of the Leviathans. Soon they conducted an observation scan of the Leviathan army. It's not good. The big thing is not good. The Leviathans have recovered themselves. When the current party's message comes, the audience was silent. The Leviathans actually recovered. Not to mention the recovery of the wound, even the head and torso that had been knocked out grew back. This is also terrible. It means that everyone did nothing the same just now. They still have the ability to recover quickly on their own. In this case, it will be even more difficult to eliminate. It was difficult to touch its core, but now the difficulty has risen sharply. The faces of Xiao Lijun and others were full of gloomy expressions. Zhang Ye glanced at everyone and said, "Even if we are all together, it is very difficult. No matter what it is, we will destroy it if we try our best. It really doesn't work, we all will adjust weapons or something. Let's do it together, I don't believe it anymore." At this moment, even the reinforcements of the Eagle Nation have been mentioned in the front. Before they came to support, they were forced to join. But now they figured it out clearly, Daxia and the Lab of the Gods were both enemies. It's the same with everyone. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2815. Especially now it can cause both sides to lose out. Why don't they do it? Furthermore, if Big Mac Daxia or these people can't be eliminated, in the end, they had to destroy the Eagle Nation. Then it will be their problem. It might as well be wiped out now. Even if it can't be eliminated, it is better to understand all aspects and discover all the shortcomings. Prepare for the future. Yes. Let's do it together. One word, Danti, let it live. Rush. Everyone is united. Pressed up towards the sea area ahead. Leviathan has officially assembled in the sea ahead. The army of the gods laboratory evacuated from the capital has fled from the sea and arrived on the sea islands arranged in advance. Mr. X is always paying attention to the situation of Leviathan and Daxia. What happens next? Are they pressing on? Lucifer asked. Let all the Leviathan army press on. This time without reservation. Kill. Kill me. Mr. X suffocated his anger. In addition, the Dark Doctor is notified that the plan is temporarily cancelled. The situation has changed. We have not yet confirmed the existence of the god in Forbidden Land No 76. The others nodded, understood. Is there any message from the main priest? Mr. X asked. No. I don't know what the main gods mean. But I feel that they will make a decision soon. Okay, solve here first. See how the battle is going. In addition, quickly find out what the Bible organization and Maya industry are all about. And how did Daxia fight back? Check it out for me within an hour. Otherwise, you guys will stop living. He was really angry. This failure is unacceptable. Things that had been laid out for several years were so defeated. He was about to cry. Where is the problem? He should be considered exhaustive. Everything is calculated in. And the plan is ahead of schedule. From 3 months to 2 months, and then to 1.5 months. Then even more early. Every step is seamless, how can it fail? What's the difference? Check it out immediately. Especially how each change happened. Anyone who is ginseng and who comes in must be found out one by one. The God of Forbidden Land number 76? The 2 types of existence in Daxia legends? Pooh. I can't even see the shadow. He hates and is angry. Why did the situation become like this? I want the world to know the craziest and most dangerous appearance of Leviathan. Mr. X is almost abnormal. After the Leviathans received the order, start to act. This time, a total of 3,000 Leviathans gathered together and lined up one after another. It was so terrible last time when 800 animals were together. This time there are 3,000. However, this is not the most terrible. The most frightening thing is that they have begun to change. This time Leviathan began to undergo a qualitative change. The scales on their bodies suddenly disappeared, and they were strangely integrated into their bodies. It is equivalent to an extra layer of protective film on the Leviathan body surface. The blue energy liquid began to glow in the body surface membrane, flowing back and forth, all over the body. In the case of the naked eye, these Leviathans turned out to be bigger again. The height has reached 120 meters. The length has also increased by 40 or 50 meters. The body looks like a full circle. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2816. Seeing Leviathan's body shape change from a distance, everyone took a deep breath. There was extreme horror in the eyes. Too frightening. Just a lap larger, its combat effectiveness will be greatly improved. These Leviathans have been directly upgraded and come to a whole new level. However, it is not only a lap bigger. No one thought that the scales on their bodies actually contained terrifying substances. Now it has become a body protective film. The energy liquid in the film has the function of destroying corrosion. Once it is attacked, there is no place to die. Just like the special weapons of the Maya industry, once the special substances on them are contaminated, there is no longer any way to survive. At that time, the whole world was helpless. Now these scales contain upgraded special substances. After all, it was developed by the Dark Doctor. Not only does it cause super serious damage to the human body, it also damages all other weapons and buildings. More powerful. At this time, the World Coalition forces in front were already less than 10 kilometers away from the Leviathan army. They began to bombard Leviathan with various weapons. For a time, the front was turned into a sea of flames again. Various secret weapons were useful to Leviathan before. But now that the Leviathan has evolved, the secret weapons of various countries have failed. Hit them, it won't work at all. This surprised everyone. Then the Leviathans began to accelerate. This speed makes everyone unimaginable. How much energy does such a big body get so fast? But the Leviathans actually moved at such a speed. Suddenly, it appeared before the World Coalition forces. The reinforcements of the major countries and forces are all on advanced aircraft or maritime vehicles. Even many reinforcements are wearing various special armors. Boom! 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 After the Leviathans arrived, they attacked directly. The membranes of their bodies suddenly ejected energy liquid, which first produced an explosive effect. Immediately afterwards, the special material turned into a torrential rain and swayed on the equipment or people of the reinforcements. In the next second, the corrosiveness of the special substance was revealed. No matter what material is made of equipment, as long as they are contaminated by this special substance, high-strength corrosion will occur immediately. Shit! Everyone saw the reinforcements' weapons, aircraft, and maritime vehicles all corroded. Suddenly no longer. Even if the reinforcements were wearing secret armor, they were corroded, and then their bodies. What? There were screams everywhere. Heavy losses ahead. At the same time, the reinforcements who rushed up wanted to destroy the Leviathans at close range. As a result, the thin film on the Leviathan body sprayed out special substances. They may be super strong and unmatched. Maybe the battle armor can reach the standard of aerospace, and there will be no damage from the friction of the atmosphere. However, when encountering this kind of material, it was all corroded, and no matter how strong the combat power was, it could not be used. Now the situation is Leviathan, let alone hurt the core. You can't even touch it. You will die at the first touch. This wave of reinforcements basically lost a third of their strength. Shocked. Everyone was completely dumbfounded. Leviathan is now technically invincible. I have to say it. Even if you encounter it, you can recover instantly. What's more, after getting bigger, the combat effectiveness also soared. It can't stop it at all. How to do? Everyone panicked. Not good. This material is very similar to the material on weapons before Maya Industries. But it's an upgraded version. Someone quickly tested these substances. Get this conclusion. What? Everyone was shocked again. Previous studies on the special materials on Maya industrial weapons were not clear. In addition to the deep-sea material dug in kangaroo country, there are no ways to deal with it. Now comes the upgraded version again. Isn't this asking them to die on the spot? The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2817. Withdraw. Hurry up. At this point, if you don't withdraw, you will die. The supporting armies began to withdraw one by one. But the Leviathans continued to press up. There are also many weapons that have not been used, and they are used against the escaped. Reinforcements. Leviathan's speed is too fast. There were even a lot of people who directly trampled reinforcements to death. The casualties are increasing. But there is no way to fight back. Now Daxia is just changing the situation. But the crisis has not diminished at all. The threat is even greater. Let's go. Underworld gods led the masters who were holding artifacts or god armors and started attacking. Other things can't stop it. But they believe it. The armors and artifacts created by the metal resources of the Forbidden Area number 76 cannot be corroded. The Underworld god has just tried it with the special material brought by the forward team. Boom! The evil spirits rose from the ground, holding a crossbow. Suddenly shot an arrow. Shit! Sure enough, the artifact is still useful. Directly penetrate the film of Leviathan and cause no small damage. Although compared to the damage caused before, it cannot be compared. At least it works. Others are also working hard. For example, Yan Yudeo, Ya Lingtian and others rushed forward. Holding the artifact in hand, they showed their posture against the sky. The liquid sprayed by the Leviathans could not cause damage to these war armor artifacts. This makes Mr. X angry. It's them again. What the hell is going on in Forbidden Land No 76? But the problem is that the number of artifacts and armors is still too small. Although it works, it is almost trivial. It just boosts morale. Let everyone here know. Can cause damage to Leviathan. But it doesn't work. I saw the Leviathan that was hit recover quickly, and even the companions next to him were helping it to recover. If this goes on, even if they suffer various injuries, it is useless. If the core cannot be destroyed, there is no way to prevent their recovery. There is no difference between being injured and not being injured. Buzzing. Next moment, the 3,000 Leviathans began to gather all the energy and focus on the first row. Xiao Lijun and the others had seen this tactic with their own eyes. Withdraw. Quickly disperse. Quickly disperse. Everyone spread out. Avoid being set on fire. Xiao Lijun's department began to shout hysterically. Let everyone retreat and disperse, don't pile up together. Now everyone, boats, etc. are all gathered together. This kind of letting Leviathan set fire is very dangerous. Chaos started here. One after another scattered around. Some even dived directly into the sea. The scene and its chaos. Buzzing. Fortunately, it takes a while for all Leviathans to gather energy. Amidst the earth-shaking sound, the gathering was finally over. Boom! 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 The super-strong energy wave carries out a cover-destructive bombardment on the front. Rumble! This wave of offense can be called epic. The tremendous power flattened everything in the sea ahead. Even the terrible power is like steaming the sea water to dryness. The evil god and others at the forefront realized the danger. Immediately use the divine weapon, divine armor or the like to start the defense. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2818. Puff! Puff! But this wave of attacks is too strong. Many of them were directly beaten out. Suffered a lot of injuries. Even Yehudeo and the others were injured in varying degrees. Fortunately, the divine weapon and armor blocked their power. However, there is nothing wrong with the evil gods. Because they had swallowed the blood of the race in Forbidden Land number 76, their physique was against the sky. It can be blocked. It can also be immune to special substances. In addition, the King Kong, the young master of Tiance, also blocked all this. The laboratory of the gods on the remote island also analyzed and scanned the group of the evil gods in front. This is a device specially given to them by the Dark Doctor to test whether it is the god of Forbidden Land 76. Wrong. They are the gods of Forbidden Land number 76. The blood in their bodies has a reaction with Dr. Dark's equipment. They are the gods of Forbidden Land No 76. Before, it was judged by the artifact and the god armor. Now it's a real hammer. How do they know which race of the underworld god they just swallowed, and they didn't expect the blood of this race to be so overbearing, which directly changed the blood physique. Created an illusion. Hey? This. Mr. X became more and more incredible. What happened? Forbidden Land number 76, these guys are willing to help Daxia. Shouldn't they take advantage of this good opportunity to swallow Daxia in one breath? What happened? Incredible. There had been a change before, and he once suspected that it might not be the god of Forbidden Land number 76, and that they had made a wrong judgment. But now the evidence of the real hammer has come. He was puzzled again. More incomprehensible. The head is about to explode. The other side. Leviathan concentrated energy waves after bombarding the front. Most of the front was destroyed. This wave of Daxia and reinforcements all over the world have suffered more and more damage. This can't stop it at all. Although they retreated or scattered in advance. But after all, someone can't escape. This is all destroyed. The sea is in a mess, and the blood has dyed the sea red. The wailing and screaming kept on. Continue withdrawing. Xiao Lijun and the others have no time to grieve. Withdraw immediately. Because the second wave of attacks is coming again. Buzzing. Rumble. Sure enough, the Leviathan's second wave of concentrated attacks came. They are lined up, and the attack range is too wide. There is no way to avoid it. Heavy casualties. There is no way. There was no way to deal with this Leviathan for a while. This is the horror of Dr. Dark. It not only integrates the blood genes of various creatures and races, but also uses technology beyond the world. Leviathan moved forward while conducting an indiscriminate coverage bombardment. Daxia and the World Allied forces have no way at all. It's not close at all. Even if it gets closer, it won't help. It is as strong as an artifact and cannot penetrate Leviathan's body to reach the core. Therefore, they can only retreat again and again. Soon came the landing on the coastline. Everyone's face is as sinking as water. They understood that this time Leviathan's attack was completely different from the last time. Their so-called position and the so-called defensive line cannot stop Leviathan at all. Once Leviathan landed, Daxia suffered. Countless people will die. Many city bases will disappear from the map. Calm. Be calm. There must be a way. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2819. Everyone is actively thinking of ways. But at this point, what is a good way to do it? Leviathan pressed up. It's less than 5 kilometers from the coastline. At this distance, they can attack again. Sure enough, the buzzing, trembling sound came again. They are going to attack the coastline once. Withdrawal. Everyone can only continue to retreat. Where can there be other ways? Rumble. The coastline was hit by destruction. Lost heavily. Looking at the unstoppable Leviathan, everyone in the God's lab showed a crazy look. This time you finally know how powerful Leviathan is. Since tactics can't work, then we have to use absolute force to make you surrender. Seeing that it worked, Mr. X yelled frantically. There are no hidden cards. It's better to come directly. Up to now, all plans have failed. It is inevitable that the lab of the gods will be exposed. It's better to fight directly in the name of the gods' laboratory and fight directly. Leviathan is too powerful now. After this round of attacks, prepare to land directly. Leviathan's strength is beyond everyone's expectations. Even the Eagle Nation was a little confused. They sent the real-time situation back to the Tian Shield Bureau. The Sky Shield and other institutions of the War Eagle Nation are also studying in depth. Want to find the shortcomings of Leviathan. I am also glad that they came to support. It's better for the whole world to deal with it together than for the Eagle Nation to deal with it alone. Seeing Leviathan attacked, everyone had nothing to do. Ye Qingtian said, it would be great if we could attract these giant creatures to the dark cage left by our ancestors. But these guys are too big, and there are so many. Where can they be? Ye Zhantian, who had been locked in a dark cage, said. If there is such a big dark prison, put all these Leviathans in, none of them can get out. No one knows the dark cage better than they do. Let's do it again. Never let them land. The underworld god and others as well as the major powerhouses of Tian's mansion shouted. Let's go assault. Let's fight. They are also a little impatient and crazy. The tasks that Levi Garrison gave them were not completed well. What faces do they have? Okay. Let me keep up with the death squads. We can't at sea. What about the sea? We attack from the sea. Xiao Lijun and the others also sent all of them out. Even if all the sacrifices were made, Leviathan would be traumatized. Let's rush forward too. At least we can understand the shortcomings of this group of creatures. Powerful reinforcement organizations and death squads from various countries also rushed up. They are trying to win each other's lives. The leaders of Xiao Lijun got together and quickly thought of a plan to find a way. If there is no plan within half an hour, I am afraid that all these people who are going to charge will die. Find a way. Hurry up. Find a way quickly. Xiao Lijun shouted. The more anxious, the more confused his mind. The whole person is going crazy. The others are not much better. At this moment, Liu Xiong hurried over with his subordinates. He is responsible for evacuation. These safe islands are used. But it's not enough. Others can only say that temporary arrangements are secured. He rushed to support him to see if there was any help. What situation has deteriorated again? Liu Xiong was dumbfounded. I thought that after regaining the coastline, an advantage has been formed. Didn't expect this to get worse? What is the current situation? Liu Xiong asked. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2820. Everyone told him all about Leviathan's upgrade and evolution. Now we can't fight at all, and we can't defend it. It's easy to be captured next. We have no way at all. The elders of the ancient Garrison clan also said that it is best to find a place to trap them. Think of a solution. Zhang Ye subconsciously said. Liu Xiong's eyes lit up fiercely. What? Trapped? I have a way. The words came out. Everyone gathered around. Any solution? Everyone's eyes are like hungry wolves who have been eating meat for several days. Eyeballs are about to fly out. Do you still remember my Atlantis Sea plan 15 years ago? Liu Xiong looked at the others and asked. Hong Qingqing nodded immediately. Of course I remember. This plan is also known as the East China Sea Dragon Palace Project. It was hosted by my previous big brother. Several other people also nodded. This matter was unheard of by most people present. However, the heads of Yanlongwei knew all about it. Liu Xiong nodded. That's the legendary 99 Ocean Project. 800,000 people have been missing for 6 years in my Daxia. I don't know my relatives, but my friends can't find it. A person who has evaporated is actually for this plan. I know. This plan was later shelved for various reasons, and half of it did not continue. The main reason was that the technology, resources, and money were not up to the requirements at the time. I had to give up. Most of the people present were still dumbfounded. What the hell is this Atlantis plan? This is your question. Actually, it involves a lot. But it is probably to build a super large base on the seabed for deep sea exploration, etc. In layman's terms, it is to create an underwater kingdom like Atlantis. Liu Xiong said. As far as I know, the main structure of the Atlantis project is still complete. As long as you enter here, you will get lost without a map, you can't get out at all. And as for the specific sea area of this plan, no one knows except for the archived files. Hearing what Liu Xiong said, Xiao Lijun had already reacted. Do you mean we brought all these giant creatures to this place, and then trapped them? Xiao Lijun asked. Yes, exactly. It can't be said to be trapped forever. But at least it can be trapped for a while. As far as I know, the super bases planned by Atoll Antis are closed. Even they are difficult to break. Besides, the place is mysterious and you can't find it at all. Even if they are controlled behind the scenes, the signal information will be interrupted when they reach that place, and they can no longer be controlled. For a while, we can completely control it. Liu Xiong finished explaining in this way. Everyone's eyes lit up fiercely. There is hope. Temporarily trapped. Everyone think of a solution. I immediately asked someone to bring the files about the Atlantis project. I'll know the location of the sea floor soon. The next difficulty is how to attract this group of guys to the designated location. Liu Xiong said. Finished. He went directly to the file. Take charge of this personally. Xiao Lijun frowned and said softly, now it is actually beneficial to our plan. I think everyone can see it. Now, these giant creatures are gathered together, they have to concentrate their strength, so they will not separate. As long as we are attracted, we will all follow. But the difficulty is how to attract them. If someone manipulates them, it will be even harder. Even the impossible. The others immediately said. Actually, this question is simple. How is the situation now? Xiao Lijun asked. We are completely crushed. We can't beat it, and we can't help it. Although everyone went up and tried desperately, it was not effective at all. All they can do is delay a little time. Everyone sighed. This kind of battle is extremely uncomfortable. On the contrary, it will be easier to attract them. Xiao Lijun smiled suddenly. Let everyone feel inexplicable. One after another looked over. The war god Levi Garrison is in front of the absolute power of Zoe Lopez. Chapter 2704, Is there a conspiracy? Xiao Lijun explained, since the situation is like this. What do our enemies think? Of course, we don't fear anything, just let this giant creature army crazily crush and open the way. No matter what defense is used, I see. Head Xiao's point is that even if we have any conspiracy, the enemy is not afraid at all. In the eyes of the enemy, strength decides everything and smash all conspiracies. Even if they know that we are a conspiracy, they will come to see what is going on. Because I'm not afraid. Xiao Lijun praised, yes. Our enemies have this kind of psychology. As long as we attract, they will come with a high probability. Even if they deviate from their offensive line, it doesn't matter. After all, Da Xia is already in their eyes. Eat it. After the plan is confirmed, Xiao Lijun immediately contacted Ye Qingtian and others in front of him. Tell them the plan. Let them not come for real, pretend to harass, and delay time. The other side. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2821. Lu Xiong quickly transferred to this top-secret file. Seeing the content of the Atlantis project, took a deep breath. But now is not the time to look at the plan. He quickly determined the location. It is matched with the current map again to determine the location accurately, so as to plan the route and how to enter when the time comes. After solving a series of problems, it's been 20 minutes. Even if the front is changed from desperate tactics to harassment tactics, there are still heavy casualties. Next, we need to go to this place together. The route has been planned. Let's escape together. Attract all these giant creatures here, and then trap them. Xiao Lijun and others immediately told Ye Qingtian ahead of him. Then everyone started to flee towards the planned route. Of course not inland, but at sea. Except for Xiao Lijun and others who occupied the rear, everyone else began to flee to the designated place. Especially Ye Qingtian, who took the lead, suddenly fled to the east. The others followed immediately. For a while, the Leviathans were all dumbfounded. At a loss. According to their combat position. Why did this group of people ran over to the right suddenly? This is unreasonable. Next, more and more people ran away. Shocked. Soon, the Leviathans were empty. No opponents. Except for the coastline ahead. It's not just that they are dumbfounded. Together with Mr. X in the laboratory of the gods at the back, they were all dumbfounded. What's the situation? What is this doing? Why did they all escape? Is this their conspiracy? Want to distract Leviathan? Yes. It's mostly a conspiracy. Everyone discussed. Hey! Even if it is a conspiracy? Now they have no way to deal with Leviathan. In the face of absolute crushing power, all conspiracies are useless. Want to trap Leviathan? Is there any place in this world that can trap Leviathan? Or 3000? The words came out. Everyone feels reasonable. Yes, we should follow up and see. Look at their conspiracy. What's more, I think the people who took the lead in the escape were the ancient people of the Garrison clan and the Bible organization. I have reason to suspect that they are going to reunite with other gods in Forbidden Area No. 76. Mr. X's eyes lit up. It makes sense. Now their only way is the god of Forbidden Land number 76. Even though we have seen them, the truly powerful ones still haven't appeared. Now they are probably going to reunite. Then we can't let them go. Even if the Daxia coastline is close at hand. It's already our Chinese food. And it's not too late to eat again later. Let all the Leviathans follow at full speed. Hurry, hurry. Don't lose it. Remember. Keep up. But don't attack. Don't disturb them. The goal of Leviathan's army is to find out what they are going to do. Mr. X also specifically ordered. Xiao Lijun and the others are actually betting. Bet that the Leviathan army will follow. If he can't keep up, Daxia will be miserable. Saw the Leviathan army stopped there. They were sweating nervously. They were relieved to see the Leviathan army moving. Be cheated. The fish is hooked. They are half done. The next step is to see if everyone can attract the Leviathan army to the designated position. What is this? Levi Garrison, who was not far away, was stunned. He followed Mutant 13 and the 4 King Kong all the way to the sea. He let the others continue to find the lab of the gods. He observed the situation in the dark. As for him, he knew the power of Leviathan for a long time, and he swept the suppression all the way. So he was looking for an opportunity to take action. Everyone can't deal with this kind of naughty. Then Levi Garrison also had no idea. Can only be shot. Expose is exposed, can't just watch this country be destroyed. The future can only be said later. Just when he was about to make a move, the group of people suddenly fled in another direction, and all the Leviathans also chased up. What's the situation? He was dumbfounded. What conspiracy and tricks are these people doing? However, he can only follow. See what's going on. After escaping in the sea for a while, everyone began to use the underwater vehicle to sink into the sea and ran to the deep sea. I have to say that the modern technology is superb. This kind of underwater vehicle has no pressure in the deep sea. The large forces in front are escaping desperately, following the planned route for improvement. All Leviathan troops from the rear kept up. The evolved Leviathan is also very fast, chasing in the deep sea. Of course Levi Garrison followed last. He became more and more curious about what the hell are these people doing? Time passed by every minute and every second. A sense of tension permeates everyone's heart. But the lab of the gods is curious. They are curious about where they went. Although the lab of the gods has explored many places, the world is so big and there are still many unknown areas. For example, they don't know where they are going now. Xiao Lijun and the others are nervous. I am nervous about whether this plan will succeed. Levi Garrison followed all the way. Soon after coming to an area, it was completely dim. Obviously it has come to a particularly deep sea. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2822. But there were no obstacles along the way. Even if there are deep-sea creatures, it is too late to run against Leviathan. At this time, the signals from Yechingtian and their large forces in the front were all cut off. I can't get in touch with the outside world at all. But they are not nervous at all. Because Liu Xiong's plan had been explained in advance. After arriving in this area, the magnetic field changed significantly, and no signal could be transmitted. Because of this mystery, the location of the Atlantis plan was chosen below. Just let outsiders find it. However, Liu Xiong has already planned the roadmap for them in detail. Then just follow the roadmap. This sudden change did not affect them in the slightest. They are still moving forward. However, when Leviathan came to this area, the signal suddenly failed in all aspects. The lab of the gods suddenly lost contact with Leviathan. Shocked. What happened? We can't control it. Can't get in touch. This time, no matter how the lab of the gods operates, they can't get in touch with Leviathan, let alone control it. Shocked. Where did they go? Not good. Something is going to happen. Mr. X immediately understood. I thought that I was not afraid of all conspiracies, but this situation would happen where I could imagine. This is a big conspiracy. Not good. Immediately send someone to see where Leviathan lost contact. Quickly check the situation. At this time, everyone in the lab of the gods suddenly became stunned. Although they couldn't think of how these people would eliminate Leviathan, they were still worried. Although Leviathan lost contact with the lab of the gods. But the command they got before was to follow the deserter ahead and not to attack. So the Leviathan army has been following. Levi Garrison, who followed behind, also noticed the weirdness of this place, not to mention the strong energy. It was completely disordered. They are all underwater vehicles, and Levi Garrison is following with pure body. So the feeling is obvious. After passing through this area, the next journey became more and more difficult. Many underwater vehicles were obstructed and damaged a lot. Leviathan's huge body forcibly destroyed all obstacles. I don't know how long it will take. The eyes suddenly opened up. It also lights up. The scene in front of them shocked everyone. A super large deep sea base appeared in everyone's eyes. These Leviathans seem very small. Don't say 3,000. Just 30,000 can be installed casually. The scale here has already begun. The magnificent architecture shocked the world. If it is reported here, I am afraid that the whole world will be shocked that another prehistoric civilization has been discovered. However, this is Daxia's Donghai Dragon Palace plan. After coming here, according to the instructions, Ye Qingtian and the others released a series of drones and continued to enter the deep sea base. They left quickly in another secret passage. This channel is the back of the East China Sea Dragon Palace project, and is used for escape or secret use. Now Liu Xiong will mark this place. Provide Ye Qingtian with them to escape. When a large number of Leviathan came here, they had all disappeared. Only a large number of drones are left in front. The Leviathans have been unable to capture Ye Qingtian and others who are leaving, and can only capture these drones. Immediately all followed. Shortly after, all Leviathans entered this deep sea base. Start capturing these drones. Levi Garrison has been following. He was shocked by the deep sea kingdom in front of him. If it weren't for Daxia's temperament and Daxia's modern characters on the architecture, he must think that this is where the prehistoric civilization is. It seems that I have entered a certain secret base in Daxia. It seems that this place has been abandoned for a long time. Levi Garrison began to observe here. Rumble. But at this moment, the gates around the huge deep sea base began to close. This is made of special materials and surrounds the entire base to protect it. Not only, there is also a huge dome soaring up. Cover the entire base. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2823. At this moment, Levi Garrison finally understood what their plan was. Since they can't beat these Leviathans, they can be attracted to this place to trap them all. Walked all the way since just now. Levi Garrison understood that this is a place isolated from the world, and there is no special road map to get here. So now Leviathan has disconnected from the lab of the gods. Otherwise, it won't be attracted by the drone. Everyone else escaped. Levi Garrison was happy. Your plan is good. But I was still inside, so you closed the door? In fact, Liu Xiong from the outside world couldn't judge the situation inside. He closed the door after determining the time when a Leviathan was introduced to the base after precise calculations, and he was also betting. Soon, Levi Garrison discovered that all the Leviathans were looking at him. After all, after entering this base, Leviathan couldn't find anyone else. Those infinite machines were soon crushed by them. Only Levi Garrison is alive. They can only deal with him. Levi Garrison looked helpless. Look. You closed the door, this is the consequence. It's all against me. Levi Garrison was very depressed at first, but then he showed a deep smile. Before I was thinking about how to kill you quietly without revealing myself. I didn't have a chance for a long time, but now. Levi Garrison smiled even more. This kind of opportunity came by itself? They all came to a place isolated from the world? No one from the outside world knows what you are doing here. Even the lab of the gods would not know. This is easy to judge. If the lab of the gods can continue to control Leviathan, they will not be caught and trapped here. Therefore, Levi Garrison must have lost contact with Leviathan. Never know the situation here. Even if I kill them all, no one knows. The Leviathans began to stare at Levi Garrison angrily, trying to tear him apart. Court death. Levi Garrison didn't say anything, he pulled out the divine tribulation directly. You are the lackeys of the lab of the gods. Let's take your surgery first. Buzzing. Shenja trembled crazily, as if screaming excitedly. Rumble. Divine tribulation exudes a surging weather, covering the entire base. That is the coercion that opens up the world. Directly suppressed all the Leviathans in front of you. They have never felt such a strong presence. This is the first time. Unbelievably powerful. All the Leviathans froze in place. Although they are manipulated, they are also intelligent creatures with their own consciousness. Now that the instructions of the lab of the gods have been completed, they will judge affairs through their own consciousness. Now Levi Garrison made them feel the danger. Kill. Levi Garrison's sacrifice. This is the divine catastrophe he prepared for the laboratory of the gods. Simply unmatched. Shit. Divine tribulation shoots out like a missile. Boom. Directly penetrate the front Leviathan through the middle. First, the film, then the body, no matter what material, no matter what blood gene. Will not work. It can't stop the sharpness of divine tribulation. It is as soft as a piece of tofu when it meets the sharp edge of the gods, and it can be easily cut. Can't stop it at all. It is no longer like all the attacks encountered before, it can only damage the epidermis, not Leviathans. Real body. We can only rely on everyone to accumulate and continue to chisel. But this time Leviathan encountered a divine calamity. Divine tribulation is not afraid of any defense, it just splits when encountered. Soon, divine tribulation penetrated Leviathan's thick body with a sword penetrated. Crack. Under the power of the divine calamity, Leviathan's energy core was shattered. Wow! Leviathan let out a roar and fell to the ground with a thud. But this is the beginning. The sword aura of divine tribulation began to wreak havoc on its body. Crack! Crack! Its huge body began to burst into pieces, falling apart, and instantly turning into powder. The energy core has been destroyed again and cannot be recovered at all. A Leviathan is dead. Shit! Divine tribulation did not stop, and then penetrated the second Leviathan. Shit! The third Leviathan was cut through the middle by the gods. The body next to it is divided into two. Shit! The fourth Leviathan had no reaction at all, and the divine calamity penetrated from the body. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2824. Shenja seems to be equipped with a missile lock tracking function, chasing Leviathan. I won't let it go. In front of God's tribulation, Leviathan's indestructible body is indistinguishable from tofu. Puff. This time, divine tribulation penetrated the bodies of 8 Leviathans at once. The Leviathan gathered together was penetrated in a straight line. Shit! Next, Shenji carried out an indiscriminate bombardment of these Leviathans. They are not defensive at all, let alone offensive. Even the energy shield supported by Leviathan, who had reacted later, was instantly shattered. It's not useful at all. No one can stop the majesty of God's tribulation. These Leviathans, who are raging outside, making everyone helpless, are so vulnerable in front of the divine tribulation. Just because this is Levi Garrison. This is God's tribulation. 100. 500. 1,000. 3,000. With little effort, all Leviathans were massacred by Levi Garrison indiscriminately. I don't know how much effort the Dark Doctor spent, how much resources and materials, and how much manpower and financial resources he spent. But in front of Levi Garrison, it took only a few minutes to kill. After doing all this, Levi Garrison put away the divine calamity. Looking at the closed door of the base, Levi Garrison smiled helplessly. There is no way, he can only use his fist to open the gate of the base and leave. For Levi Garrison, he could still leave easily. After all, he knew the way before he came, which was equivalent to mastering the map. Just don't know the path that Ye Qingtian and the others escaped from. Finally solved a big worry. Only the main priest is left. He can wait for the chief priest with all his strength. Daxia is still far from enough. Leviathan left them at a loss. Now, the lab of the gods went mad and wanted to contact Leviathan. Someone has been sent to search where the Leviathans disappeared. Thus, it was all stared at by the four King Kong. They plus Variant 13 are still looking for traces of the gods' laboratory. Now they will send someone here. Naturally, I was eyeing on the other side. On the coastline of Daxia, everyone is anxiously waiting. They need to know that Ye Qingtian has no success. The representatives of various countries who came to support have already inquired many times. I want to know where Ye Qingtian and the others attracted these Big Macs. But after all, Atlantis is Daxia's top secret plan. If we can't disclose it, we won't disclose it. If not encountered this problem, I'm afraid no one will know about the Atlantis plan. The Eagle Nation also secretly sent a message back to the Sky Shield there should be a secret place in a certain sea area in Daxia, or what they discovered, it was able to temporarily trap these giant creatures. For a while, Tian Shield was very curious and began to inquire relevant information. After waiting for a long time, finally Ye Qingtian returned with a large group of troops. Although all of them are ashamed. Even the aircraft was damaged. At least it was successful. We succeeded. Those giant guys have all entered the reserved area. They must be trapped. Hearing Ye Qingtian's good news, the audience began to cheer. Everyone is excited. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2825. The Eagle Nation and the major supporting forces were very surprised. Daxia really succeeded? How did they do it? Where are these Big Macs trapped? It's amazing. Comrades in arms. This group of giant creatures will be besieged next. At least a month. Even as long as a year. Let's study them together and see how to eliminate them. Xiao Lijun laughed. Yes. It's a big deal, let's study it together. This is good for each of us in the future. Everyone agreed. Soon, the representative of the War Eagle Nation couldn't help asking, Head Xiao, dare to ask where you trapped these Big Macs? It's so amazing. The words came out. Many people gathered around, wanting to know the answer, very curious. The key point is that everyone can't imagine any place under the sky that can trap 3,000 such giant creatures at the same time. So eagerly want to know where. Xiao Lijun smiled, sorry. I can't tell you for the time being. After all, this involves too much. I say it is very likely that our efforts will be ruined. At this time, Li Chenmin stood up and said, yes, that's wrong. The fewer people who know, the better. We have spies or spies who don't know the enemy. Yes, if this place leaks out. If it is used by someone who is interested, if it is released again. Who will bear the consequences? The best thing is that the fewer people you know, the better. The powers of the countries that have good relations with Daxia have come forward to speak. How dare you let more people know about this? Non my family, its heart must be different. What's more, all the people present are aliens. How can such a big secret be said? And also to be afraid of the people behind Leviathan, it becomes more and more impossible to say it. The representative of the War Eagle Nation immediately ended the battle, yes. Don't ask any more. Since you are trapped, that's a good thing. This matter is not over. In the end, everyone discussed and all countries sent experts to study how to deal with Leviathan. The other side. The lab of the gods searched for a long time where the Leviathans lost contact, and there was no clue at all. The journey to the space is too complicated, so no one has discovered it for so long. They can't find it either. There is no way to find where Leviathan disappeared. Hearing the message of no results, Mr. X's face was really gloomy. Don't get angry. 3,000 Big Macs just disappeared like this. Who will believe it? It just disappeared? Can't get in touch? I take it. Mr. X is really mad. However, what they didn't expect was that not only had they disappeared, they had all been massacred. None of them are left. Are you sure that Leviathan is trapped? Mr. X said solemnly. Everyone bowed their heads. To this, there is no good explanation and answer. I don't even know where Leviathan has gone. Report. The information just intercepted from Daxia. Leviathan was indeed drawn to a certain place. By Daxia. The details are unknown. Daxia guards this closely. However, Daxia predicts that it can be trapped for at least a month. They are now jointly studying how to solve Leviathan. Hearing the real Hammer's message, everyone's expressions grew gloomy. All of them were furious. It was really calculated by Daxia. What conspiracy does not work in front of absolute power? Is it useful now? And they overlooked one point. Leviathan is not a human being after all, it was made more of a machine. What should I do now? Only Daxia and the gods in Forbidden Land number 76 know the place, right? I now suspect that this place has something to do with Forbidden Land number 76. Maybe it is their base in the sea. Everyone said one after another. Mr. X is a sticky head. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2826. Lucifer said, we should send someone to investigate immediately, know where this place is from. Daxia. Now we have basically all the spies and undercover agents in Daxia. How do we check? Daxia strictly guards this place. No one will know about it. Mr. X roared. Then what to do? Isn't it Leviathan that we can't find it? Everyone's faces are full of haze. Immediately notify Dr. Dark about this matter. Leviathan was researched by him, and see if he can get in touch. Mr. X calmed down. Sir, the decision of the chief priest is here. At this time, a message came from subordinates. What? Let me see. Mr. X received the message anxiously. This is the first time the chief priest has released a decision. He eagerly wanted to know what decision the chief priest would make at this critical moment. Others also want to know. After all, from the plan to the present, the chief priest has never been in control. Give it all to Mr. X and the others. Now things are not right, they finally make a decision. Moreover, the main gods that Levi Garrison has been thinking about are not at all with the major bases of the gods' laboratory. They have other places. It can even be said that he has never moved. It's just that the large forces of the gods' lab came to Daxia. Mr. X looked at the decision of the chief priest, his eyes were deep, his brows furrowed, and his complexion gradually became serious. Others are puzzled. What is Mr. X's decision? The Clown Emperor finally couldn't help asking. Everyone else came up too. The decision of the main divine division: let the laboratory of the gods return to the world. Renamed the Kingdom of the Gods. Declare war on the world. Those who follow me prosper, and those who oppose me perish. No matter whoever does not surrender will be killed without mercy. Those who belong to the Kingdom of God must take it seriously. The language is not surprising and endless. The words came out. The lab of the gods is about to explode. The lab of the gods wants to proclaim the whole world and stand on its own as the Kingdom of God. Declare war on every part of the world. Self-reliant as the Kingdom of God? Unexpectedly. Everyone in the lab of the gods didn't expect it. not including Mr. X. The decision given by the chief priest turned out to be like this. Want to declare war on the whole world? Also announce Leviathan's message. It's so arrogant. Silence. Everyone fell into a long silence. After a while, Mr. X smiled and said, "Yet. We are superpower today. No longer be afraid of the great Xia Warhawks. And others. Why hide in hiding? We should directly declare the world that we are back. We are the strongest force in the world, should we still call it a laboratory? We should stand on our own as the kingdom of gods. The kingdom of gods. The whole world must obey the orders of our gods. Anyone who obeys the kingdom of God is a slave of God. Disobedience is a demon. Kill them all." Some words made everyone excited. Everyone was full of excitement. I almost yelled. They are gods. To be above the whole world. Everyone else should be crawling under their feet. Worship them. This group of humans also made a god list. It feels ridiculous to think about it. Daxia should be occupied by them, and everyone is enslaved by them. They are now superbly powerful. Not afraid of everything. Just Leviathan makes the world helpless. Yes. The matter is now. Our tactics are useless. It is better to suppress everything directly with pure strength. How about the god of Forbidden Land number 76? Come on, right. There are two types of existences in Daxia's legend that have the ability, otherwise Daxia will be killed. God blocks and kills gods, Buddha blocks and kills Buddha. Mr. X, they are excited. Quickly, quickly. Send my order, everyone goes to the address designated by the main gods. We are going to establish ourselves as the kingdom of God. Soon. The lab of the gods has acted collectively. This time they didn't hide it anymore. Swaggering towards a certain place in the western continent. Whoever takes the initiative will destroy whoever. Just then. No one thought that something happened. The dark web, which has been silent for a long time, suddenly released a major message. The giant creature that wreaked havoc on the world was named Leviathan, and it was actually made by the laboratory of the gods that had disappeared for more than 3 years. They want to use Leviathan to destroy Daxia in order to achieve the goal of dominating the world. Secondly, the lab of the gods will immediately announce their coming to the world, and it will also establish itself as the kingdom of the gods and initiate a declaration of war on the whole world. As soon as the message came out, the whole world exploded. The lab of the gods also flew the pot. They still haven't started. How did the dark web know? The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2827. Senseless. Mr. X was dumbfounded. Lucifer and the clown are going crazy. They also just learned about the decision of the chief priest, and they haven't officially announced it. How does this dark web know? What kind of existence is the dark web? Earlier, the lab of the gods had paid attention to the dark web. After searching for a long time, nothing was found. And the dark web will not hinder the plan to go to the laboratory of the gods. Therefore, they no longer check the dark web. But now it is really scared. Actually know everything about them. Even know this. What about the others? I guess you will know it too, right? They hurriedly told the message to the chief priest. The main priest was also taken aback. Ready to investigate the dark web. This is already threatening them. Must be removed. The message of the dark web spread quickly to every corner of the world. It's really exploding. So horrible. Now, almost everyone knows the source of Leviathan. Some people know Daxia, some people don't. Even Xiao Lijun and the others are just guessing and don't know how it really is. Ah! Is Leviathan from the lab of the gods? I knew what Daxia I supported earlier. It would be good if I didn't cut Daxia. It turned out to be from the lab of the gods, I said earlier. I'm going to support Daxia. After knowing all this, the hostile countries that came to support Daxia began to regret it. The reason why they came to support is actually to protect themselves. After all, I don't know who is behind Leviathan. The unknown is the fear. For fear that it will affect him in the future, it is better to clear this unknown danger with Daxia. If it was known that Leviathan was in the laboratory of the gods, then they will definitely not come to help Daxia. This is not only the case with hostile forces. Even some neutral forces have this idea. For them, it is good for Daxia to fall, knowing that it is the laboratory of the gods. However, Daxia's friendly forces have the same attitude. To advance and retreat with Daxia. All of a sudden, the alliance formed by Daxia collapsed. All reinforcements were withdrawn. All experts withdrew. Some hostile forces even wanted to tell all Daxia's secrets. Daxia was also a little dumbfounded. Unexpectedly, this is the result. The alliance collapsed in half instantly. But there are also benefits. The lab of the gods must be clear and declare war on the whole world. In this way everyone can still unite together. As for those hostile forces, after knowing that Leviathan was in the laboratory of the gods, they were frightened one by one. Judging the current strength of the gods' laboratory may be much more terrifying than imagined. After all, such a Leviathan has left the world at a loss. If the true power of the lab of the gods is shown, who can stop it? What's more, the lab of the gods is now declaring war on the world. Since they dare to be so arrogant, they dare to make such a declaration. That shows that their whole card background is more terrifying than imagined. They are very confident. For a while, there are a lot of clerks, silently planning to take refuge in the laboratory of the gods. If this continues, there are more and more such countries and forces. If you surrender now, you can still eat meat and soup together. After the laboratories of the gods actually use force, then surrender at that time, they may not even have bones. Other countries are also discussing this matter. Or preparing. Next, the lab of the gods may have to attack directly. After the announcement on the dark web, the lab of the gods simply declared directly. The world is shocked again. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2828. After Levi Garrison came out, he was surprised when he heard this: everyone is self-reliant. Who gave me the courage? But then his face became heavy. Since the lab of the gods dared to stand up as a country, it declared war on the whole world with great fanfare. Then it shows that they are quite confident in their own strength. I want to hit you. I also tell you in advance. Get you all ready. I'll hit you again. This seems arrogant and reckless. In fact, I am confident of my own strength. After all, Leviathan made everyone know how to do it. Not to mention the core power of the gods' laboratory. The most frightening thing is that there is a main priest behind him. It was a head-on collision. But it may also be a good thing for Levi Garrison. The lab of the gods is no longer hidden. Believe that the main priest will be able to meet it soon. But Levi Garrison was thinking about a question: does the lab of the gods and the Eagle Nation not cooperate? After all, the relationship between the two parties was so close before that they were one. But it doesn't seem to be right now. Both want to eat each other's. Even though Leviathan had been trapped at this time, the gods' laboratory was also not attacking. However, the defenses on the coastline of Daxia have not been withdrawn. Instead, they have been reinforced and then reinforced. Even the Bible organization and Mayan industry are not going. Especially now that I know it is the laboratory of the gods. I'm afraid that they will suddenly get into trouble. Must be guarded at all times. The sea is calm and there is nothing. But in fact, thousands of eyes are staring here. When there is an unusual change coming, they found out immediately. There is an enemy. There is an enemy. Discovery of changes in the sea. For a time, the sirens sounded loudly. Panicked again on the coastline. Even the underworld god and other powerhouses rushed to the forefront. What? Do you want to deal with me? A familiar voice sounded. They can see clearly. It's Levi Garrison. Hey? Are you out? Everyone was surprised. But everyone was vociferous. Brought Levi Garrison to the coastal defense line and met with Xiao Lijun and the others. Seeing Levi Garrison again, their eyes were full of shame. After all, they did a lot of stupid regrets. Even ashamed that he couldn't face Levi Garrison. Can't wait to find a seam to drill in. Liu Xiong was even more tearful. I'm sorry for the word side by side. I'm sorry. I don't keep it. The island is only half built. I will stop it. Not only that, but all the materials and machines are sold at low prices. Now, I'm sorry for your trust. Daxia suffered such a great loss. It's all my fault. Liu Xiong is really blaming himself. Regardless of the current situation, the losses suffered by this wave are too great. If I had listened to Levi Garrison earlier, where can there be such a big loss? If the city wall was built at the beginning, Leviathan would not be able to attack. That is nothing to lose. Now if it's not Ferd trapped, I am afraid that the entire Daxia will suffer. The Safety Island project was also unsuccessful. Otherwise, many people can be spared. I'm really sorry Levi Garrison entrusted him. But Liu Xiong blamed himself so much. It was Xiao Lijun and Hong Qingking that were the most uncomfortable. The more he said, the more uncomfortable everyone was and the more self-blaming. Everyone really keeps their heads down. The feeling of shame is so full that they can't wait to kneel down. Because of these things Liu Xiong said. In fact, Liu Xiong has been insisting. In fact, they told Liu Xiong to give up, and they often used meetings or voting to suppress Liu Xiong. A series of things is that they are persecuting at the source. No matter how Liu Xiong persisted, his power alone is not enough. There is no way to control many things at all. The safe island is what they advocate to stop. The materials are sold by them. They removed the line of defense. Everything is them. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2829. Now I see Liu Xiong taking care of everything alone. They are actually very uncomfortable. Only I know the feeling of inner struggle. Hey, blame me too. If I were not in retreat, I would definitely look at you. I will definitely not let you. Stop. Levi Garrison said helplessly. Before the retreat, he really seriously told. No matter what the situation is, don't stop. It's me who doesn't use it. It's all my fault. Liu Xiong was about to cry. At this time, Xiao Lijun and the others couldn't help it finally. Xiao Lijun said, one word side by side, in fact, we blame us. How much does it have to do with Lao Lu? We advocate stopping, and selling all the materials to reduce losses. It's our fault. The line of defense was also removed by us. It was we who opened the gate of Daxia. Country. Blame us for not believing you, you told us so long ago. Hong Qingking and Zhang Ye also spoke out one after another. Now that Daxia has suffered such a big loss, we can't get away from it. Take full responsibility. This is our fault. Several people directly admitted it. Xiao Lijun and the others shouted to Levi Garrison together, we are wrong about the word side by side king. We sincerely apologize to you. Levi Garrison quickly helped a few people up, what are you guys saying? You can't be blamed for this. But, you are too clingy to what you see. Don't think about it in the long run. This is somewhat problematic. I heard Levi Garrison say so. Everyone nodded, it's really wrong. We are still too conservative and too careful. For fear that we can't grasp it, we will bury everything on us. Let us not be bold enough to look forward and do it. On the contrary, there will be major problems. Like now. This is indeed what we are. Lao Cao has long noticed the abnormality, and the brothers from the Bible organization have told me that there is a problem, and you have ignored it. I want to thank Lao Cao, he also acted early and reduced a lot of losses. Liu Xiong shouted. Hearing this, everyone lowered their heads and became more ashamed and blamed. Levi Garrison smiled, one more thing, you still don't trust me too much. I don't think I can get this kind of information. I don't think I am strong enough, and I can't find this kind of information. But tell you, my strength is there, and I am still at the ancestral level in intelligence. Xiao Lijun frowned, I really blame us. I don't believe you. I don't think this kind of intelligence can be obtained with your strength. But we forgot that you were once the best leader and the most powerful agent. Intelligence is not necessarily the super strong can dig it. It's our fault. I can't wait to slap myself. We are all to blame. It's our fault. Well, now is not the time to blame each other for finding problems, we have to consider the next problems. Levi Garrison hurriedly stopped. Xiao Lijun was already going to smoke himself. This is the head of Yanlongwei. How can it work? Originally, we have discussed with all our allies how to deal with Leviathan. As a result, the announcement of the Lab of the Gods came out. Our hostile forces and many neutral parties have announced their withdrawal. The experts originally arranged have also been withdrawn. But we still gathered a lot of experts to study together. After all, we have scanned Leviathan, we have a lot of data, and it is estimated that we can work out a solution. We have trapped all Leviathans. The fastest they will break free after a month, they may not find their way out. We have plenty of time. Several people talked about the next plan. One by one seemed confident. Levi Garrison was speechless. Leviathan is still going on. Doesn't he know? Leviathan is dead, this is always a step slower. That's it. Levi Garrison asked. Otherwise, we don't know the strength of the God's Lab. But Leviathan is the biggest enemy right now. Everyone nodded. Levi Garrison said directly, don't worry about Leviathan's affairs. This page is over. Don't mention anyone. It's just that. Everyone was dumbfounded. Everyone stared at Levi Garrison suspiciously and curiously. How did Leviathan reveal the past? How can this reveal the past? No. You don't know the word side by side, we just temporarily trapped Leviathan. It is expected that it will only take a few months. And Leviathan is from the Lab of the Gods, they will find it faster. We must find a solution when Leviathan reappears. Everyone thought that Levi Garrison didn't know the specific situation, and immediately explained to him. Levi Garrison gave a white glance and said, I know. You have trapped them in a submarine waste base. Don't worry about them. They are in the past tense, this page is over. When Levi Garrison finished speaking, everyone was shocked. There was an incredible look on his face. How did Levi Garrison know about the Atlantis plan? Hearing what he said was so light, it seemed as if he had witnessed it with his own eyes. How can it be possible? Levi Garrison has just arrived. I don't even know this plan at all. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2830. They were all terrified. The word side by side king, do you even know this? The eyes of Xiao Lijun and the others were filled with inevitable shock. Plan Atlantis. What do I not know? Levi Garrison smiled. Not long ago. He walked around in the abandoned Donghai Dragon Palace. Field trips. But it is clearer than what they know in their files. I know why this plan stopped. Know it better than anyone present. After all, Levi Garrison was the only one among so many people who had been to the scene. Hearing this, everyone is more different. But then I thought about it and it was relieved. Levi Garrison's control of intelligence is at the ancestral level. This kind of top-secret file is not known to others as normal, but since the Leviathan incident happened, they felt that Levi Garrison was omnipotent. It is normal to know about the Atlantis plan. But some people still have objections. I want to say something different. Levi Garrison glared at the group of people. I've said it all, this page is over. Leviathan doesn't need to. Think about it, they can't come out, you guys think about it. Liu Xiong immediately stood up to support him. Everyone listens to one word side by side. Don't you believe him? The lab of the gods may be about to attack in an all-round way. I think the king should be selected as the commander in command, commanding all the forces of Daxia to defend and contend. We listened to everything one word side by side. Liu Xiong's proposal was quickly responded. I agree. I agree. At this time, we should listen to the king. His advanced judgment and intelligence are beyond ours. There is no doubt about the commander's leadership ability. We will all obey him when he comes to be the commander. Xiao Lijun, Hong Qingkang, Zhang Ye and others stood up. Okay, we also agree. Leave everything to the king of one word. You will arrange it. Yes, directly in the name of Yan Longwei, appoint the one-word side-by-side king as the commander-in-chief of this time. You can mobilize all the power of Daxia. We will not interfere. Of course, Levi Garrison took over this task. The first point, everyone in Leviathan doesn't need to mention it, they won't come out again. Don't ask. How I know? I just know. Levi Garrison stated repeatedly. Clear. Then command you to make arrangements, and we will do our best to assist you. Everyone looked at Levi Garrison. Okay, the first thing next. After Levi Garrison finished speaking, everyone was dumbfounded. Can this work? Everyone is trembling. Showing an unbelievable look. It was mainly the plan proposed by Levi Garrison, which shocked everyone. The first step of the plan Levi Garrison just said was to expand the line of defense. Not to mention directly crossing the waters of Daxia, a long defensive line must be extended. It directly enveloped the adjacent East Island and the seas of the Star Country. This maritime defense line is too broad. The scope is too wide and too wide. What's more, the East Island and the Star Country have to be enveloped. People might not agree. Therefore, everyone is so shocked. Liu Xiong and others immediately said, support the commander-in-chief. If our defense line does not cover the neighboring countries and forces, if they surrender to the laboratory of the gods at that time. When the time comes, the lab of the gods can use the nearby place as a pedal to attack us. Even the nearby forces stabbed us in the back. At that time we will be in danger. So no matter what, first expand the defensive line and cover it. Even if they surrender at that time, we will be able to control the situation and react in time. In addition, extending our defense line has many benefits. It can predict the situation in advance and buy time for the rear. This must be. Our previous strategy was to shrink the defense, so that the enemy has many ways. Everyone nodded approvingly. Next, I will assign tasks. Levi Garrison looked at Zoe Lopez and them, all the members of Kunlun College. Although many people in Kunlun College were still dissatisfied with Levi Garrison's strength, at this time, Levi Garrison was the commander-in-command and had to listen. His marching and fighting is indeed invincible. He can maximize the role of everyone and arrange them in the best position. This is something no one else can do. Exist. Everyone shouted. I want to arrange you in the front row of the new defense line. A group of 5 people can basically cover all the positions in this sea area. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2831. All you need to do is to monitor and prevent enemy surprise attacks. If you encounter an enemy situation, you can resist it flexibly and adopt the form of harassment. Levi Garrison looked at the Azure Dragon. Qinglong, people again, these people are my former subordinates. They are very experienced in this regard. They will lead the team. You will assign the details. Several people in Azure Dragon, Qinglong, nodded, okay, understand. Let's go. All Kunlun College set off. And also brought that artifact crossbow. As for the defense line covering the East Island and the Star Country, I will trouble you. You are originally from the Star Country. It is more convenient to do this. Levi Garrison entrusted this task to Li Chinman. It is not difficult to do this with the strength of the Samsung Group. Levi Garrison looked at Xiao Lijun and others again. Next, you will add the entire defensive line. You don't have to resist. Harassment is enough. As for Daxia's defense, hurry up. You are responsible for dealing with the enemy's modern technological weapons. As for the opponent's warrior superpower, the general defense system is not useful at all. I remember that the Bible organization and Maya industry have corresponding targeting methods. There are no questions for you, right? Levi Garrison said. Yan Yudao and Ya Lingtian were just about to refuse. The voice of the evil god sounded, there is no problem, my master, the dark god, has ordered that Maya industry and the Bible organization follow Daxia's arrangements. This. Yan Yudao and the others were very puzzled. What is the relationship between Master Dark God and Daxia? Why not spare no effort to help? Take out all the whole cards? It's incredible. However, they did not dare to disobey Master's order. Only obediently obedient. Next I will organize all the forces of the Bible organization. Although the underworld god and the others came to support this time, they were basically the core main force. The broad advantages of the biblical organization have not been reflected. So this time he has time to gather everything together. Gather on Daxia's side. Thanks. Thank you so much. Xiao Lijun and the others were actually very puzzled. Why would they help? Still at all costs. It's just that the god commander Tian said that they are his own, and don't worry or doubt any of their actions. They have been wondering who is the god of darkness? How to help Daxia? Can't figure it out. Well, if you gather all the forces together, you can have a greater grasp like this. Next, give me all your strength. Listen to my dispatch at any time. Levi Garrison directly requested the authority of Tian's mansion and Beilong clan. Xiao Lijun, several people hesitated, we can't make a decision about this. We have to ask them. It's just that the dragon head god will wait for someone to immediately agree. Okay, no problem. The major forces of the ancient Garrison clan also expressed their willingness to follow the unified command of Levi Garrison. This made Ye Wudao and the others even more surprised. When did the ancient Garrison clan thorny heads, they would obey Levi Garrison's words. Even if Levi Garrison is the commander-in-chief. They felt something was wrong, but they couldn't tell the details. The temporary deployment of Levi Garrison has been completed. Next, he waited for the arrival of the Laboratory of the Gods. At this time, Tian's Shenzhui also returned. Condemned all over his face. Because he lost a lot in Daxia. It turned out that the great apprentice was taken away after the Gods' Laboratory proclaimed self-reliance as a nation. Otherwise, Tian's will not come back. Subsequently, Levi Garrison gathered the strong men such as Tian's Shenzhui. He took out a bottle of medicine. This is made from the resources of Forbidden Land number 76 and their blood. Especially rare. But the effect of a bottle can be said to be against the sky. These can bring your strength to a higher level, but it will affect your future path. That is to say, the side effects may be huge. It's up to you to choose. Levi Garrison wanted them to be stronger, but he didn't force it. See if they are willing. The lab of the gods is coming fiercely. I must be strong. Tian Shenhui chose the potion. After all, his last supreme magic drug is to be left to Lavilia. Therefore, he must choose this medicine. I'm coming too. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2832. Everyone chose one by one. After everyone took it, their strength improved by leaps and bounds, and they came directly to a new level. Barely able to enter Levi Garrison's eyes. At least it can be useful to the strong in the laboratory of the gods. For example, Lucifer and the Great Clown, Levi Garrison had seen them with his own eyes. Has made an estimate of their strength. Now the upgraded Tian's god commanded them, and they were barely able to compete with Lucifer. And the others. In terms of strength, Lucifer and the others should be considered in the middle of the laboratory of the gods. Now that someone can face them, Levi Garrison is a little bit certain. One thing that made Levi Garrison gratified was in the genius plan of the Bailong clan. Gemini, Valkyrie, these geniuses are progressing so fast, they can already be used a lot. After all, they are all geniuses who were unearthed from the beginning, and their talents should be higher than those of Kunlun Academy. The other side. The great troops of the Lab of the Gods have come to the largest desert in the western continent. It's sparsely populated and the environment is harsh, and even animals can't be seen. But after they came, a country full of technological sense rose from the ground. Whether it's a building or various other configurations, everyone has never seen it before. In other words, it is all the imagined world in the future. It's all realized here in the Lab of the Gods. Obviously a desert has instantly become a future country. Shocked. It was too shocking. The Lab of the Gods is here to establish itself as a country, called the Kingdom of Gods. The establishment of the Kingdom of God shocked the world. The Lab of the Gods is too strong. Everyone must express emotion. From this country alone, everyone can know that the technology of the Gods laboratory is far above the world level. Satisfy all countries' visions for the future world. It's really shocking and terrifying. Especially those upper-class people. Isn't the Kingdom of God the paradise they have always longed for? There are even a few super-rich people who want to invest huge sums of money to build such a future city. When they live in this kind of future world, they are bound to be a level higher than the whole world. This is how they live. Someone else can never have. They are still thinking about it. I didn't expect to be built directly by others. For a time, this place was the paradise in the eyes of these rich people. They must do everything possible to live in. All the concerns of the world at one time are on this future country. The point is that this is just their building. The scary thing is weapons or other technologies. Is it a big lead in the world? Reached an unprecedented field. No wonder the Lab of the Gods is so emboldened to declare war on the world. Before, everyone was still guessing where the confidence of the Gods Lab came from. When you see the construction of the future kingdom, everyone can guess it. The Lab of the Gods doesn't need to be frontally shocked, just let the world know its horror. Countless people are no longer in panic, no longer trembling. In this case, how to fight? Surrender directly, forget it directly. People were panicked everywhere for a while. Soon, all the equipment in the Lab of the Gods settled in the Kingdom of God. Everything is ready. In the central area of the Kingdom of God, the buildings towering into the sky are really going to heaven. The world's first building will appear very small here. In the laboratory of the future at the highest point of a building. Through the glass in front of my eyes, I saw a scene of clouds and mist. Surrounded by their high-tech aircraft. It seems that you can travel directly into outer space. High. Too high. This is the perspective of God, looking down on all living beings. Mr. X. They all settled in to carry out the next plan. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2833. What information is there? Mr. X asked. Intelligence is here. 2/3 of the powers of the major countries that have allied with Daxia have withdrawn. Many others are still waiting. Hearing the first piece of information, he sneered, "Don't worry, there will be more next." But Daxia has responded quickly. Levi Garrison has been appointed as the commander-in-command. Let him deploy all the defenses. The biggest change at present is that Levi Garrison has greatly extended the defense line forward, even covering the neighboring Star Country, East Island, etc. As soon as I heard the name Levi Garrison, Lucifer, who was present, was touched again. In terms of strength, the current Levi Garrison is a soft persimmon. But if you want to talk about strategy, many people have praised Levi Garrison. I used to fight against Richard, and later against them. This aspect alone will not let the wind fall. It is indeed a very good choice for Daxia to let him be the commander-in-chief. Levi Garrison did have 2 tricks. This defensive extension is a wonderful trick. It not only prevents neighboring countries from surrendering to us, but also prevents us from using them as pedals. But then Mr. X changed his words, "But it's not useful. No matter how long the line of defense is extended, it won't work. If you can't stop it, you can't stop it. It's too different from our strength. So not to be afraid." What about other information? This should be a bit scary. The Bible organization suddenly called forces scattered all over the world. And they are all gathering in Daxia. They are moving quickly and are already beginning, after hearing this information, everyone's expressions still changed. The intentions of the gods in Forbidden Land number 76 are still unclear to them. What does it have to do with Daxia? Why don't you spare no effort to help Daxia? Still give it all. When dealing with Leviathan before, so many artifacts were taken out. The Gods Lab does not know how many gods and equipment there are in the Forbidden Area number 76. I thought that those who came to support were almost all the main force. Therefore, they will be so jealous. Are we going to block it? The man asked. No need. We are not afraid. But we just don't understand what the god of Forbidden Land 76 has to do with Daxia. Where are the people like God of Darkness? How can they not take action? After mentioning these, everyone's faces became gloomy. And there is no joy just now. In any case, they felt that this was impossible. Daxia and the lab of the gods. Lucifer and the great clown suffocated their anger. Don't worry, they will be forced out with absolute crushing strength this time. No matter who it is, we must crawl before us. No matter how strong they are. We have the Dark Doctor behind us, and the chief priest. Everyone is completely fearless. At this time, another decision of the chief priest came. Declare the world in the name of the kingdom of God. All countries and forces are limited to surrender or join within 7 days. Those who join first will be called the citizens of the kingdom of God and enjoy the same conditions. Those who surrender and join later will become ordinary people, and those who join later will become servants. The number of places is limited, so it should be arranged according to time. After more than 7 days, all enemies. There will be no more surrender at that time. Either enslave or kill without mercy. Soon, the kingdom of God announced this decision to the world. The whole world was shocked. The 7-day period. Talking long is not long, talking short is not short. The key is that the sooner you surrender, the better the conditions you can enjoy. If you surrender later, you will become a slave. This is the most challenging one. 7 days later, there is no chance of surrender. Moreover, the lab of the gods does not show its strength first, just let you guess and make everyone panic. This hand psychology is played very hard. And before Leviathan was so powerful, everyone knew it. Speaking of Leviathan, the lab of the gods is still looking for it here. Exhausted all means, sent a lot of machines and manpower to frantically search where Leviathan lost contact. Almost telling the message to the chief priest, let the chief priest think of a solution. But this is a trivial matter for the chief priest after all, and they dare not tell. But where did Dr. Dark know? He is always looking for. The hope of the gods' lab for Leviathan is also pinned on Dr. Dark. He made this by himself, and he should have a way to find it. Mr. X. Dr. Dark, they are here. At this moment, suddenly a technologically sound aircraft stopped on the platform outside the front window. A few people walked down from above. Came directly at the laboratory. After hearing this, Mr. X immediately led everyone to greet him. In terms of status, Dr. Dark is the chief priest. Taller than him. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2834. Welcome to Dr. Dark. Everyone shouted. When the door opens, Dr. Dark walked in. A decent suit, elegant and luxurious on him. Wearing a ring on a pair of long and narrow hands and a famous watch on the wrist, both show their temperament. A handsome western side is eye-catching, wearing gold-rimmed glasses. He exudes the temperament of a noble gentleman, which makes people feel illusory, as if unreal. The whole person feels like a royal prince. He is standing with Mr. X. One is a suit thug, the other is a suit gentleman. But who can think of such a gentleman as a prince? He is a veritable butcher. He has been habitually holding a scalpel in his right hand. A black scalpel. A scalpel that can cut anything. Every day I don't know that when I am dissecting a living thing, I am on the way to anatomy. In other words, he kills every day, and he kills many, many, many. There is never a time to stop. No one knows how many years he lived. It would be even more shocking if you knew it. You must know that Mr. X met Dr. Dark for the first time, he looked like this. Seeing him 30 years ago still looks like this. The Dark Doctor seemed to be frozen in this image. Never changed. So even Mr. X doesn't know how long Dark Doctor has lived. The secret of his information is estimated to be controlled only by the main priest. But what puzzles everyone the most is that Dr. Dark is just an ordinary person. Really ordinary people. Why can he freeze his appearance without getting old? Why can we create projects beyond imagination? Can't figure it out. But the more ordinary people are, the more jealous Dr. Dark makes everyone. Whose ordinary people can go deep into the number 76 Forbidden Land and grab a few gods back? Whose ordinary people can kill the second-generation blood ancestors of the Blood Clan alive for anatomy? There are too many legends about the Dark Doctor in the lab of the gods. His legendary level is incomparable even by the chief priest. It is the existence that most people admire most in the lab of gods. It is also the one that Mr. X admires most. The most terrifying thing is that Dr. Dark actually works in a hospital in the Eagle Nation. No one knows his true identity at all. Dr. Dark, you can come. Could it be that Leviathan has the message? Mr. X asked. The others also leaned in. Dr. Dark nodded. How? Where is Leviathan? Everyone couldn't bear the excitement and looked at him one after another. Dr. Dark shook his head, I don't know where they are. But they are all dead. What? Dead? The language is not surprising and endless. The words came out. The audience was horrified. Everyone's eyes are about to fly out. Leviathan is dead? How can it be? This is absolutely impossible. Impossible. If Daxia and the others can really kill all the Leviathans, Can they still use a conspiracy? 2. Attract all the Leviathans away and trap them in a mysterious place. Yes. And the exact information we got, Daxia just trapped Leviathan. There is still a deadline, the shortest 1 month. Not to mention that Leviathan is so powerful, what do they use to destroy it? It is absolutely impossible to die. Everyone began to argue with the Dark Doctor. Everyone thinks that Leviathan can't be destroyed. That's 3,000. What to kill? Don't say anything else. If the lab of the gods did not control it, it would take a lot of effort to deal with Leviathan. The loss is also quite heavy. How could other people have a way to get rid of it? This is impossible. They don't believe it. I didn't believe it if I was killed. The Leviathan that others have seen is actually one-sided and incomplete. But they are different. Know all about Leviathan. This made them understand that Leviathan could not be killed. There is no one in Daxia who has this ability. Leviathan is invincible. Dr. Dark guesses you made a mistake, and now we just can't contact Leviathan. We lost contact. Not that they were all killed. Mr. X thought that Dr. Dark had no idea about Leviathan's disappearance. Also a special reminder. Dr. Dark nodded, well, I know. But they are indeed all dead. What? This time, it was everyone's turn to be surprised. Dr. Dark, really all the Leviathans are dead? Everyone's eyes are full of incredible. Dr. Dark nodded, yes, wrong. As you know, each of Leviathan has an energy core. It is equivalent to the fusion of key organs such as the human heart and brain. Now I have noticed that the energy cores have stopped working, or have been shattered. So they are all dead. Hey? Really? Some people have been scared by Dr. Dark. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2835. Face pale. If Leviathan is dead, it will be a bad news for them. It's still impossible. At most, you can't sense it. Because Daxia introduced Leviathan into a mysterious area, which is a place isolated from the world. Can block any signal. Even the most advanced technology can't be used. As for you, it must be because of being blocked, you can't calmly sense it. One more point, this mysterious area is likely to be related to Forbidden Land number 76, but the group of guys in Forbidden Land number 76 can't kill Leviathan at all. When you designed Leviathan, you specifically targeted Forbidden Area 76. Although their supernatural powers or artifacts can hurt, they can't hurt the core of Leviathan. Do not worry. The Leviathan Legion is so powerful. Within 7 days, I will definitely get it back. What Mr. X said is reasonable and well-founded. Everyone feels reasonable. The Dark Doctor didn't speak anymore. Instead, he asked, did those guys in Forbidden Area number 76 unite with Daxia? Yes. So far, they will try their best to help Daxia. Lucifer nodded. Well, I will attack Daxia in 7 days. I will take care of the number 76 Forbidden Land personally. Dr. Darkness was cold. In addition, the main Divine Division will take appropriate action when you encounter obstacles. Clear. Everyone nodded. The Dark Doctor looked at Mr. X again. What do you think about the Eagle Nation? Warhawk Nation is actually very powerful, but we all know each other too well. We all want to be the Overlord. I think it is unlikely that they will surrender. Now our strategy is to level the world. Cooperation with the War Eagle country is of little significance. It is inevitable that we will go to war with the War Eagle country. Mr. X said several people. In that case, don't let War Eagle Nation and Daxia cooperate. Cut off the communication between each other. Dr. Dark left a word. He left here and went to his own laboratory. In this future country, everyone's area has long been divided. But this word came out. Mr. X slapped his forehead sharply. Yes. I almost ignored this. Enemies can also become allies. Come on. The announcement made by the Kingdom of God caused an uproar all over the world. The message of surrender in 7 days was like a fishbone, stuck in everyone's throat. But when the message was announced, immediately there are the richest man in the Western continent, the oil tycoon, the machinery tycoon, and the major consortiums in the Northern continent, Mr. Trillion, etc. A large group of rich or upper-class people have chosen to join the Kingdom of God. Selflessly dedicate all of his resources and money to the Kingdom of God. What these rich people yearn for is this kind of future technology city, plus the 7-day limit. Why don't they join? For the first batch added. The Kingdom of God provides them with generous treatment, and promised to build future science and technology cities for them after they conquered the world in the future. Let them call the shots. After the first group of people received preferential treatment, it greatly stimulated many people. One by one began to join the Kingdom of God. The effect was better than what the God's Lab had imagined. Sure enough, after someone started, everyone went crazy, for fear that there would be no chance. More and more people surrendered. They have all received unprecedented benefits. Next, are the major consortia and major forces. Join crazy one by one. It made everyone more and more panic. Everything seems to be in chaos. Finally, a country announced to join. Basically, they are the hostile forces of Daxia. The first one to announce to join is the giant elephant kingdom. This is what caused the biggest volatility. Before individuals, consortia, or forces, everyone was not so scared. But when the giant elephant nation chose to join, this nature changed. Great stimulus to all countries. The Kingdom of God also gives preferential treatment to the Kingdom of Giant Elephants and is directly called the first country under the Kingdom of God. Given the name of the Giant Elephant Kingdom, the favorable conditions obtained are simply unimaginable. The Giant Elephant Nation has even more weapons that have never been seen before. Many people are greedy to death. Immediately afterwards, the second country announced its accession. War Leopard. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2836. It was also Daxia's hostile forces, and at this moment he chose to join the Kingdom of God. Next, countries will join the Kingdom of God one after another. Especially the forces around the Kingdom of God. Because they can feel the power and deterioration of the Kingdom of God up close. Working against them is a dead end. It's better to join in early and have a meal. Maybe you will get unexpected benefits. Worldwide. In addition to the superpowers, Daxia, the War Eagle country, and the War Bear country and his like. The rest of the world is just around the corner. And Daxia was the only one to put on a defensive posture. Therefore, it can also be seen that Daxia is going to work against the Kingdom of God. The rest are also on the sidelines. Although the Kingdom of God is coming menacingly. But the specific strength is still not shown. Plus all Leviathans are trapped by Daxia. I haven't found it yet. The situation all over the world has become more complicated. At this moment, the Black Hawk agent of the Sky Shield and Smith, the head of the Bureau, were invited to the Kingdom of God to open the future science and technology city for negotiations. Mr. X clearly expressed his meaning and allowed the Kingdom of War Eagle to join the Kingdom of God. The guarantee he can give is that the Eagle Nation will enjoy the highest treatment. It means that other people surrendered in. The Eagle Nation was invited in. It is the relationship between the eldest brother and the second brother. The others are masters and slaves. Let Smith, the head of the game, think seriously and calmly. Ah! Do we have to join? Let's work together, isn't it good for us to dominate? Smith smiled. The Black Hawk agent also echoed, yes, how good is it to work together? Do you want to get a boss? What's more, it's very hard to eat all of you, right? Daxia is very strong and has a powerful help. If you join with the War Bear Nation again, you are also afraid it will be difficult to deal with. But we cooperate with you. The situation is very different. When the time comes, we will divide the country equally. Wouldn't it be the most profitable? The Black Hawk agent deserves to be the trump card of the Sky Shield. Can actually lobby in turn. This shocked everyone. No. We won't cooperate with anyone. We only want you to absolutely surrender. The attitude of the Gods Lab is also firm. Then what if we don't? The head of the game, Smith, smiled. He showed strong confidence all over him. He didn't even look at the laboratory of the gods at all. Then you can only fight. Of course you can unite Daxia to resist together. We are fearless. Everyone smiled. At all, he didn't put Warhawk Nation in his eyes. It's just that they are afraid of cooperating with Daxia. Smith laughed after listening. There was a deep smile on the corner of Agent Blackhawk's mouth. You still underestimate Daxia. Hey? What do you mean? Lucifer's face changed. That's Levi Garrison. The person who has made you lose countless times. This time it's him again. You will suffer a big loss in his hands. Agent Blackhawk looked at them very seriously. He knew Levi Garrison's strength. Maybe even stronger. He is earnestly persuading. But where can the other party hear it? I don't even think of Levi Garrison as the same thing. They are not afraid of everything now. We admit that Levi Garrison is resourceful and resourceful. I heard that this time he digs up a lot of information in advance. But that was because we wanted to play tricks before, and wanted to win Daxia. Without blood. Now, we rely entirely on force. No matter how resourceful Levi Garrison is, we can't use it. Our weapon, our strong man will fight over and destroy everything. Lucifer and the others laughed. Then the two sides continue to negotiate. Both sides are master negotiators. Push each other, talk to each other. In the end, their respective goals were achieved. The Eagle Nation wanted the Lab of the Gods to aggressively attack Daxia, resulting in a situation where both sides would suffer. What the Gods Lab needs is that the Eagle Nation cannot unite with Daxia. After several hours of negotiations, the goals of both parties were actually achieved. The Lab of the Gods wants us to surrender? Are they worthy? I am not afraid of the Eagle Nation. In particular, the head of the game, Smith, looked at this future city, and he sneered, thinking that only you can make this kind of city? Ho ho! The Black Hawk agent next to him was horrified. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2837. Listening to Smith's words, could it be that the Eagle Nation? The Eagle Nation must have many big secrets. He hasn't reached this level yet. The position of the head of the Tien Shield Bureau should have just been touched. Agent Blackhawk after they left. Several people in the Lab of the Gods were obviously disdainful. I don't believe it anymore. Levi Garrison will cause us a heavy loss. Can we still suffer a loss in Levi Garrison's hands now? I don't believe it either. I'm really angry to see him look determined. Everyone naturally disdains. But we can't ignore Levi Garrison. He has a lot of tactics. He can't beat us head on, and if we don't keep it together, we will be darkened in the dark. Mr. X said. Yes, he is too cunning. Maybe he will give us a knife in the back. I also found out that the whole world is jointly supporting Daxia, and he is the one who made trouble. He is now an invisible threat, even greater than the threat of some superpowers. Several people also said. If you re-examine it, Levi Garrison is indeed a big threat. If this is the case, then why don't we kill Levi Garrison directly? I used to think that killing him was different from trampling on an ant. There was no interest in killing him at all. But now he has a threat, you can kill it. Yes. Assassinated him directly, wouldn't it be 100? Let's discuss it casually. Feeling that Levi Garrison should be killed directly. The idea hit it off. Then who will kill? Mr. X asked. Send someone to kill, anyway, his strength is weak. Everyone still despised Levi Garrison's strength. Mr. X glanced around and said, let's do it, Lucifer, you go. In order to be foolproof, the three of you, the Great Clown, the Sea Demon, and the Hell Witch, follow. Lucifer. You are also Levi Garrison's old enemies. You killed him once, and I hope you kill him again. Lucifer personally stood up, understood. Levi Garrison is afraid that this kind of thing will happen a second time. However, I hope that the first plot will not be staged again. Don't die with others again. Ask the Dark Doctor to save you at that time. I can't take this face off. Mr. X exhorted. Don't worry. We are no longer what we were a few years ago. We are as powerful as the gods. The four are full of confidence. After locking the position of Levi Garrison, the four set out to punish Levi Garrison. Complete this easiest task. Someone came to kill himself, it is probably what Levi Garrison didn't even think of. Of course it's still an old friend. The two died together. I didn't expect to see each other again in a few years. What is Levi Garrison doing? Of course not idle. Attention is all on the laboratory of the gods. Especially the lab of the gods now has a base camp, telling the world where they are. This made Levi Garrison better check. But his focus is still on the main priest. Regardless of what future modern cities are, they are so shocking to the world. But it was not useful for Levi Garrison. He is still worried about the chief priest. The main divine division will not show up for a day, and he will not reveal his strength for a day. He is now in the command room dedicated to the commander, coordinating the globalization. I'm still going around the East Island Star Country. These two places must be different. Levi Garrison is going to visit these two places in person. There is no one else with him, just a variant of number 3 and King Kong number 4. In fact, it was for him. The rest were sent out to work. The most important thing is to stare at the future kingdom of the laboratory of the gods. Came to the waters north of the East Island, just arrived, King Kong 4 sent a signal. At the same time, mutant number 3 became vigilant and prepared for battle. Apparently someone is coming. Levi Garrison laughed immediately. He also felt 4 terrifying auras flying fast from the bottom of the sea. Approach yourself quickly. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2838. In terms of strength, these 4 might not be inferior to the evolved Ye Zhantian and the others. Especially in the sea, it seems that their combat effectiveness has been infinitely magnified. It should be above Ye Zhantian and the others. Super powerful. This can only be from the lab of the gods. Is this someone coming to kill himself? Levi Garrison looked shocked. He had never thought about someone coming to kill him. I think there is no reason. After all, in everyone's impression, he is like a weak chicken. Until this moment, Levi Garrison understood. It should be that he became the commander-in-chief and began to line up troops. This is a threat to the laboratory of the gods. That's why I have to kill myself. In addition, Levi Garrison could not find any reason. Variant number 3 and King Kong number 4 sensed the danger, and they had to act immediately. Levi Garrison waved his hand. He wants to see who it is first. It's not too late to do it again. About 10 minutes later, sudden changes occurred in this sea area. A huge whirlpool began to appear under the ship that Levi Garrison was riding in, rolling the ship up. The whole sea seemed to boil. The vortex suddenly rose up from the sea and lifted Levi Garrison's ship into the air. It is hundreds of meters high. It's really scary. If everyone else is supposed to be scared to death. Boom! Accompanied by a loud bang. The vortex disappeared, the big wave disappeared. The ship that Levi Garrison was on descended directly, exploding a big hole on the sea. When the ship stabilized, 4 figures appeared on the deck. Lucifer, the clown, the great them. It's been a long time since my old friend. Lucifer laughed out loud. The others also smiled excitedly, looking at Levi Garrison as if looking at a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. Of course it's nice to meet old friends. Levi Garrison was also happy. I thought it was you. What a coincidence. Although he found 4 people early. But they are all speeding in the sea. Enveloped by the sea monster's superpower to control the sea. The other 3 really couldn't tell who it was. See real people now. Levi Garrison was also very excited. Unexpectedly, there are still a few old friends, enemies. What a coincidence. Ha 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 ha. Levi Garrison laughed suddenly. I didn't think it was fun. At this moment, I suddenly felt interested in everything. If anyone else saw this scene. I thought that both sides are too good to be friends. From the first meeting, both sides were laughing. I heard that after you died with me, you were saved. Levi Garrison asked. Lucifer looked arrogant. To be exact, it is the resurrection. Not you mortals can understand. We are gods. Understand? Yes. The us you met before Levi Garrison were half human and half gods at best. Now we are gods. The Clown Emperor also said. Their strength today has reached a terrible situation. In other words, the blood of their race is becoming more and more pure, almost comparable to their ancestors. From the beginning of their birth, these races have the power to destroy the world and possess various talents. In the later period, it gradually degenerates, the blood is getting weaker and weaker, and the various talents are getting weaker and weaker. But now hell witches and sea monsters are gradually returning to their ancestors with the help of the laboratory of the gods. Their bloodline gradually moved closer to the first ancestors, so their strength became stronger and stronger. Now it's fast to be on the same level as the original ancestors. Therefore, they dare to call themselves gods. It is also the reason why the lab of the gods was renamed the Kingdom of God. Because the people of the Kingdom of God are all gods. Now, the 4 of Lucifer were condescending and looked at Levi Garrison as if they were looking at an ant. If it hadn't been for Levi Garrison to be the commander-in-chief, they would never come to kill him. We'll lower the status. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2839. Where are the little ordinary people qualified to let the gods kill them? Impossible. God? Ha ha ha. I have never seen such a weak god. You guys are really shameless too. Where do you call yourself a god when you lick your face? Levi Garrison smiled directly. Why are people professing gods everywhere? With a little bit of power, you feel lawless, above this world, and claiming to be a god? Who recognized it? So are the guys in Forbidden Area number 76. So is the lab of the gods now. It's hilarious. Levi Garrison, do you know that you are blasphemy? God is inviolable and blasphemy for human beings. Soon our Kingdom of God will level the whole world. Everyone is crawling on the ground, enshrining us as gods. We will kill you personally. It will be the most glorious thing in your life. You can die in the hands of God. Levi Garrison's words seemed to hit their weakness. One by one began to get excited. He started roaring at Levi Garrison. Ha 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 ha. Levi Garrison smiled happily. This group of people seems to have that fantasy. One by one thinks of themselves as gods all day long. Where are they showing off? Seeing where Levi Garrison was smiling, The great clown felt they were insulted. One by one became more and more angry. He was so angry that he had a red face and a thick neck. Levi Garrison gives you a chance. Suicide yourself. Don't force us to do it. Lucifer threw a knife to Levi Garrison. Because in their fancy, Levi Garrison, an ordinary person, is not worthy of letting them take the initiative. Only by letting Levi Garrison commit suicide can they reveal their godly identity. Just you? You want me to commit suicide, are you worthy? Levi Garrison said coldly. The variants number 3 and King Kong number 4 next to them have already felt Levi Garrison's powerful anger. I'm going to do it right away. Levi Garrison stopped them. If it's the other ants, come and do it. But I'll do it myself for the few ants in front of me. I will draw a successful conclusion to a few years ago. Seeing Levi Garrison so arrogant, the Clown Emperor was stunned. He wants to fight by himself? Sure. Ordinary humans want to fight with gods? Are you crazy? They couldn't know Levi Garrison's strength anymore. Is this looking for death? Boom. Levi Garrison's eyes suddenly locked on Lucifer. Last time I let someone save you. But this time I won't give you any chance. At this moment, Lucifer felt the overwhelming coercion. One can only struggle with pain. Incompetent barking. Levi Garrison loosened his hands slightly, and the two of them were able to talk. How dare you, Levi Garrison? Do you know the fate of your shot against God? The two shouted frantically. Not only will I shoot you, I will kill you. Levi Garrison sneered. Kill the gods? Do you dare to kill the gods? Do you have the courage? Do you have the strength? The two were in a hurry. Feeling that Levi Garrison now kills them again, it is against the law. Ordinary humans kill gods? How can this be? The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2840. Levi Garrison laughed. Sorry, you are not the first god I killed. There are hundreds of them. He really had no idea how many Levi Garrison killed in Forbidden Land number 76. What? When the Clown Emperor and Lucifer heard this, their faces were full of horror. They could see that Levi Garrison was absolutely flustered. He is real. Has he really done all this? Two people are suspicious. The last time a group of guys who claimed to be gods were slaughtered by me, you are the next one. What? I heard Levi Garrison say so. The wise two seemed to understand something. Is this the group of guys in Forbidden Area 76? Doesn't it exist anymore? They thought and saw Levi Garrison's subordinates. Understood. Only at this moment did they understand. Many things and problems were solved immediately. Everything is because of Levi Garrison. They want to break their heads and can't think of it all because of him. It's a pity that everything is too late. Goodbye, old friend. Levi Garrison's voice fell, his hands exerted strength, and the power that could crush mountains, rivers, and stars poured into it. The Clown Emperor and Lucifer's bodies exploded directly, dissipating between heaven and earth. There is nothing left. The Clown Emperor and Lucifer, the four of them, even dreamt that the seemingly simplest task would have killed the four gods. This is something that no one thinks of anyway. Levi Garrison, who had no power to bind the chicken, would actually kill them. Incredible. The four of them thought that the easiest and most exciting journey would be the road to hell. After getting rid of the four people, Levi Garrison smiled and said, "How are you going to resurrect this time? God? Can't you still kill it? Just blow it." Ha ha ha. Mutant number 3 and King Kong number 4 both made bursts of laughter. I was laughing at this group of self-proclaimed gods. In fact, they are still human. Just a different race. God? Pull it down. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2841. It is an individual who wants to be a god and accept the worship of all mankind. You are all gods, then what am I? Levi Garrison sneered. Although he had to wait for the main divine division to come out to show his full strength. But these few are here to kill him, of course he is going to make a move. No one knows about this anyway. Levi Garrison did not let them send out any information. Kill it, kill it. Secretly killing things. But to kill honestly, the winner must come out. After all this was done, Levi Garrison felt nothing like it. Go and continue to stare at the East Island country. However, in the future science and technology city of the Kingdom of God. But there was an exception. Hey? Are you not coming back? How long has it been? It stands to reason that Levi Garrison had been killed and returned. Everyone is waiting for Lucifer to come back. It's just that I haven't come back after time has passed. Should there be no accident? Everyone looked worried. Mr. X said coldly, if I send one out, I might be worried. But I send out 4 at once. What can be done? Who can be their opponent? Say it like this. Everyone was relieved. Everyone knows the strength of the 4 Lucifer. However, with time, there is still no one to see. 1 hour. 2 hours. 5 hours, the 4 of Lucifer still didn't come back. And there is no message. Everyone can't sit still now. Together with Mr. X. If you are 1 or 2 hours late, it is actually normal. But if there is no return in 5 hours, and there is no message, then the problem is big. It's likely something happened. No way, is there something wrong with killing Levi Garrison? Is Levi Garrison too powerful to kill? Everyone began to doubt. How is it possible? Don't everyone know what Levi Garrison's strength is? Just send one out and you can kill, let alone a full 4. Someone immediately corrected it. Or our intelligence is wrong. Levi Garrison is not guarded by no one, but there are many strong guards. Someone suggested another possibility. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, chapter 2842. That's not right. Even if Levi Garrison has strong guards by his side. Even to pull out the gods of the sky. With the strength of the 4 clown emperors, no matter who guards, right? Levi Garrison can still be killed, retreat all over. This is everyone's affirmation of the strength of the 4. They are generally aware of all the strong in Daxia. It is difficult to kill or trap these 4 people. In other words, it is impossible at all. It should be that something else has happened. Go and find out what's going on. Go and see if Levi Garrison is dead? Or is there chaos in Daxia? Mr. X immediately ordered. The advanced intelligence system of the Kingdom of God went to investigate immediately. After a few minutes, the message came back. Hey? What's the situation? Daxia's side is calm, nothing happened. Nothing happened. Nothing happened in their defense line. This information comes. Everyone's complexion changed drastically. What? Nothing happened? If Lucifer's 4 had an accident, it would definitely cause an uproar in Daxia. Now nothing happened. Unusual. Not normal at all. Levi Garrison is still patrolling around the East Island, as if he didn't meet Lucifer at all. Another piece of information came. Everyone was stunned. In this case, the 4 of Lucifer disappeared mysteriously. There weren't even a chance to show up near Daxia, and even no one went to kill Levi Garrison. The intelligence department of the Gods Laboratory confirmed again and again. There are no traces of the 4 of Lucifer. Especially when they set off, they used the superpowers of the sea monsters to walk under the sea. No trace can be captured. The series of evidence given now is that they disappeared after they set off. It has not reached Daxia, and there is no way to kill Levi Garrison. The only explanation is that they disappeared in the sea. 7 or 8 hours have passed. There is still no contact. This is Mr. X's capable man, and he naturally doesn't want to give up like this. Immediately sent many people to search in the sea. Even if you die or evaporate, you have to find the cause. So what about Levi Garrison? Someone asked. Levi Garrison is still alive now. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, chapter 2843. After all, the initial purpose was to kill Levi Garrison. Yes, if you want to know that Lucifer and their disappearance have nothing to do with Levi Garrison, you have to continue to send people to kill him. Killing him while seeing what happens is killing two birds with one stone. Everyone said, "Okay, Levi Garrison must die. Just to see if this matter has anything to do with him." Mr. X said. "But who should I send? Now that the four of Lucifer disappeared, then they could not send anyone casually. Send someone who is stronger than them, can control the situation, and can send back messages." Gradually, Mr. X's eyes fell on a person in the corner. He was wearing a black suit, and his whole person was wrapped in it. Only a pair of dark eyes were revealed. But it gives people a feeling of black stars. It seems that the closer you get to him, the whole person will be sucked away. Dark Devourer. It should now be called the Darkness Devouring God. The laboratories of the gods now call themselves gods. The Dark Devourer, from the moment of birth, all creatures close to him will be sucked out of life, essence and die. Even swallowing everything, the surrounding flowers, plants, trees, insects, fish, birds, and beasts, as long as they get close, they will all be swallowed. Over time, he became a great plague god. Later, I met Dr. Dark and helped him improve, giving him the ability to control swallowing. Able to control devouring. In fact, it is similar to Daxia's suction power. But he is a natural talent. The nature is the same. Strengthen yourself by absorbing, devouring, the strength of other people. It is precisely because of the existence of the Dark Devourer that he can bear no matter how much he swallows because of the race bloodline problem. This allowed the lab of the gods to transform Chen Kong's physique so that he could bear the side effects, cannot bear too much power. It is because of the Dark Devourer that the biggest shortcoming of suction power is improved. Today's Dark Devourer can be compared to the pinnacle of power absorption, but definitely much stronger than Chen Kong before. His strength is also higher than that of the four of Lucifer. After all, against him, it is likely to be swallowed. Even people who are stronger than him are not his opponents. Devouring this talent is terrible. I can't beat you, but I can swallow you. Sending him to Mr. X is very relieved. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, chapter 2844. Not only that, they also installed some devices on the Dark Devourer. It can send back information in time, and it can also locate it. The Dark Devourer set off. Go to the East Island. The lab of the gods continued to send out in the sea to search for the whereabouts of the four Lucifer. But there is no feedback. Levi Garrison wandered around the East Island, checking some information to see if there was any idea of surrendering on the East Island. Now the attitude of the Kingdom of God is too strong and does not accept any cooperation. Only accept surrender to join. Therefore, the careful thinking of these countries can only surrender and join the Kingdom of God. There is no other choice. Otherwise, they have more choices. Star Country, Dongdao, who have lots of intestines, are probably entangled. If the Kingdom of God opens up the option of cooperation, it is estimated that they will run faster than anyone else. I'm afraid it has already cooperated. It would be great if the neighboring countries of Star Kingdom and Dongdao fight against the lab of the gods together. Levi Garrison had to lobby himself. Give my order, gather the leaders of the surrounding countries such as East Island, Star Country, etc. to this island for a meeting. Levi Garrison gave the order. Soon, the persons in charge of all parties came to Xiodao to meet with Levi Garrison. This predicted Levi Garrison's idea. They actually don't want to surrender. If they want to surrender, they won't come to the meeting at all. At the meeting, all parties began to speak. If you don't surrender, you have to have capital that doesn't surrender. Yes, it's okay to unite. But at least you have to have the strength to fight against others. For example, the entire army is overthrown and it is crushed by others. It is better to surrender and become a slave, at least you can save your life. Next, everyone found a unified direction. As long as we have the strength to fight against the kingdom of God, we are willing to unite. At least let us see a little bit of hope, right? This is what everyone wants. Levi Garrison couldn't help but smiled. Don't worry, I have a way, and Daxia has a master who can handle it. You. Everyone cast hesitating glances. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2845. Do you think Daxia can let me be the commander-in-chief if I don't have a whole card and hold on to it? Levi Garrison asked rhetorically. The words came out. Several people were stunned. After thinking about it, that is indeed the case. It seems that Levi Garrison must have a whole card. Otherwise it won't be so calm. When everyone agreed, Levi Garrison's expression changed. Someone is here again. Levi Garrison had already noticed it. The Lab of the Gods moves really fast, so soon the second round will come. Variant number 3 and King Kong number 4 were also noticed. Although the strong people around these responsible persons are like clouds, these strong people are still a little worse after all. They are still not aware of it. Levi Garrison's time for your death has arrived. Soon, a sound seemed to come through the sky. There was a thunderous movement on the island. The majors responsible for the thousands of powerhouses around them immediately began to be vigilant. Soon, a black figure struck like lightning. The Dark Devourer appeared. He gives people a terrifying feeling. Like a black hole in the universe, everything that meets him will be swallowed. Encountered this movement, several responsible persons hurriedly evacuated from inside. After coming outside, everyone saw the Dark Devourer. Stop him! The person in charge of Star Country made an order. The powerhouses around him immediately went forward. Buzz! But when a terrible scene appeared, these strong men were swallowed by darkness in an instant. Only one remains with bones. Unbelievable! Everyone was scared. They all watched their companions be swallowed. That scene was terrible. This is the powerhouse of the Lab of the Gods. Get out! Get out! Many people are resisting, but the end is miserable. All were swallowed by the Dark Devourers. The death was extremely disastrous. It can't stop the Dark Devourer at all. There are many strong men armed with advanced weapons, bombarding the Devourers of Darkness. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2846. But the frightening thing is that the Dark Devourer can even swallow all the firepower of these weapons. It didn't hurt him a little bit. Let alone resist any attack, he can swallow it. This is the most powerful. Everyone panicked for a while. They were also shocked when they saw the strong in the Lab of the Gods for the first time. All were scared. After all, just now everyone was still discussing how to target the Lab of the Gods. After a second, the strong man came. This is too fast. It hurt everyone's self-confidence to a great extent. Especially still so powerful. Everyone is thinking about running away. Several persons in charge looked at Levi Garrison, meaning it was obvious. Let Levi Garrison solve this crisis. It happened that Levi Garrison came to show off his strength. They don't even want to withdraw. Let's see how Levi Garrison dealt with this terrifying powerhouse. But no one knew that Levi Garrison had run away. After jumping directly into the sea, he boarded the boat and ran. Everyone! Everyone was silent. A moment ago, Levi Garrison was still clamoring that he had the cards and tricks to fight against the lab of the gods. How to? As a result, in the next moment, the powerhouse of the lab of the gods really came. Levi Garrison is the fastest one. This stunned everyone present. All of them were dumbfounded. Even the Dark Devourer was dumbfounded. Before coming, he was still worried, what if Levi Garrison was very strong? Or are there top powerhouses around? Maybe the disappearance of Lucifer's 4 had a great relationship with Levi Garrison. So he was still a little worried. Even if the strength is strong. After arriving here, he was a little confused. Levi Garrison ran away? But after thinking about it, this is right. A strong man who is too much stronger than himself will kill himself. Why don't you run? Are you waiting to die? This is right. When the Dark Devourer sent the real-time picture back to the lab of the gods, everyone was shocked at first. Then he was relieved. Sure enough, Levi Garrison's performance was normal. Running at this time is right. Darkness devours God, your task is to kill Levi Garrison. No matter the others. Mr. X ordered. Understand, my task is only Levi Garrison. Levi Garrison ran away. The variant number 3 and King Kong number 4 also ran away. A group of people were left crying without tears. Levi Garrison is here, you bastard. The F***ck left us and ran away. I really took it. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2847. Levi Garrison is what you call the confidence? I'm afraid it won't cheat us at that time. Let us go up. You ran away by yourself. A group of people is going to explode. They run slowly. Next, it was up to them to face the fierce powerhouse in the laboratory of the gods. The trouble is big. It is likely that everyone will stay here. Every one of them was about to scold Levi Garrison to death. Blame him. Looking at the mighty power of the Dark Devourer, one by one is desperate to death. At this time, I saw that the Dark Devourer couldn't even take a look at them, and chased up in the direction where Levi Garrison disappeared. This surprised everyone. What's the situation? Not deal with them? Still don't put them in the eyes? One by one was depressed. Maybe people just came to kill Levi Garrison. When we first appeared, we heard people calling Levi Garrison's name. Someone explained. In that case, we are innocent disaster, but are we implicated? Everyone was relieved. But this Levi Garrison really doesn't pay attention to things. It was obviously his trouble, but he ran away immediately and threw this mess to us. All of us run quickly, lest something happens again later. They all ran away quickly. At this time, the Devourer of Darkness was pursuing the escaping Levi Garrison. Levi Garrison, you can't escape the palm of my hand. The Dark Devourer shouted. This made the lab of the gods also very excited. On the one hand, Levi Garrison's weakness made them sure that their guess was wrong. On the one hand, it was certain that the disappearance of Lucifer had nothing to do with Levi Garrison. Soon, Levi Garrison was overtaken by the Dark Devourer. But there is no waiting for him to take action. Levi Garrison went directly into the sea. Chase. How can the meat that reaches the mouth let it run away? The Dark Devourer immediately chased after him. The speed of Levi Garrison in the sea is really not slow. Always keep a certain distance from the Dark Devourer. This annoys the Dark Devourer. He is such a powerful existence, can't kill Levi Garrison? The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2848. Don't you want to be laughed at when you spread it out? For a moment, the Dark Devourer came up. Keep chasing. Be careful, Levi Garrison may be cheating. Can't catch up for a long time, still in the sea. Mr. X has a bad feeling. I am afraid that Levi Garrison will be deceived. So remind the Dark Devourer. It's just that the current Dark Devourer is completely on his head. I can't listen to other people's dissuasion. He wanted to catch up with Levi Garrison, and then kill him. The speed is too fast. As a result, the information sent back to the technological items he carried was slow. I don't know how long it took. Both sides have come to the realm of the deep sea. The environment here has become extremely harsh. But Levi Garrison continued to dive. The Dark Devourer will naturally catch up. While chasing, he swallowed creatures and obstacles in the sea, preparing for catching up with Levi Garrison. In the deep sea for a while, due to the Devourers of Darkness, everything was messed up. The appearance is not formed anymore. But in order to catch up with Levi Garrison, he must do everything possible. Look at the scene that came back in the picture. Mr. X was a little puzzled. This place seems familiar? But I can't remember it. Where have you seen it? He frowned and began to think. Others also said one after another, yes, I think it is very familiar, but I really can't remember it. Yet. I'm sure we have definitely seen it. It should have been explored while exploring. Everyone take a closer look. Mr. X touched his chin and said, in this way, immediately lock their current position. Understood. Half a minute. Not good. The big thing is not good. After half a minute. Suddenly, the pan was exploded in the laboratory of the gods. Their place is. Mr. X couldn't help but think of something, and subconsciously said, could it be the seas that attracted Leviathan to disappear before Daxia? Wrong. It's here, said the positioning person. At this time, everyone exclaimed again and again, what? Levi Garrison attracted the Dark Devourer to this place. It's going to break now. Something is going to happen. Suddenly everyone showed an unbelievable look. No wonder we felt familiar just now. It turned out to be this place. But why don't we recognize it at first sight? Someone voiced doubts. First, the speed of darkness devouring God is too fast, causing the picture to be different from the previous one. Second, wherever darkness swallows God, he will devour and destroy. Therefore, many places are in a mess, just like, but not the same. We will feel familiar instead of recognizing it at first sight. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2849. Everyone understands the reason. Mr. X suddenly realized, I probably understand where the Lucifer 4 disappeared. It's impossible for us to look for them like that, and we can't find the slightest trace of them. You mean they are all attracted to this place, like Leviathan, are all trapped? Mr. X nodded, yes, it's wrong. This is Daxia's unique trick, controlling an unknown sea area. I can't beat you, but I can trap you so that you can't get out anyway. It must be. How strong are the 4 Lucifer? Now they have suddenly disappeared, and they can't be contacted, and can't be found. There is not even a trace. Obviously they are trapped in the place where Leviathan disappeared. Understood. Everything is understood. Why did Lucifer and the Clown the Great disappear? That's because I was attracted to the sea by Levi Garrison Lee and was trapped. It's over. Darkness devours God. Hurry up and let the dark devouring God stop. This area should be where Leviathan will soon lose contact, and then we will not be able to contact the dark devouring God. Hurry up and send a message to stop him. Mr. X urged. Send out the message here. But soon, the man said, because of the impact, and the speed of the Dark Devourer is too fast. So the messages and pictures sent to us are delayed. It's almost a minute, according to the time, we have reached the area where Leviathan lost contact. Boom! This bad news is like a heavy hammer, hitting everyone's heart fiercely. Everyone was shocked. Sure enough, dozens of seconds later. I can't get in touch anymore. The equipment on the dark devouring god is no longer compatible with the god's laboratory. That means losing contact. The situation is exactly the same as when Leviathan disappeared. Something has happened. A big deal has happened now. You must know that the darkness-swallowing god is the super general that was activated when the god's lab attacked the world. With his swallowing ability, he stands in the front, no one can beat him. If so unclearly trapped. It's maddening. This is a huge loss. If Lucifer was included, the loss would be too great. What should I do now? Everyone asked. No idea. For today's plan, we still have to find out where this location is. We must increase our efforts. This place may become Daxia's big killer. Secondly, it is best to control this place. We can't find a specific one, but Daxia don't even want to use it. As for the darkness-devouring god, he has to rely on himself. I hope he can break this place and come out. Mr. X told everyone. This is also no way. They can't help anymore now. Well, I immediately send someone to take care of this place, and they don't even want to use it. The Return of the God of War, the Protector, Chapter 2850. This is only what the Lab of the Gods can do. Now, Levi Garrison really attracted the dark devouring god to the area planned by Atlantis. After all, the Lab of the Gods came prepared this time, and must have made some preparations. After all, there are lessons for the Lucifer 4. And there are still so many people together. He will not shoot in person. It's not from the chief priest, he won't shoot it face to face. Therefore he will run away. Attract the dark devourer to the dark to solve it. If he finds this place, it's nothing. If you don't find it, that would be great. He can kill the dark devourer. During the tracking journey, it is estimated to disturb the mentality of the dark devourer. Let him come up, and follow him tightly. Sure enough, this guy was fooled. After chasing himself, he traced all the way to the area where Leviathan disappeared. Quickly followed in the passage. I don't know how long it has passed. One after another, the two finally came to the base planned by Atlantis. Levi Garrison stopped and couldn't leave. The dark devourer behind chased up. He was quickly attracted by the magnificent base. This, even if it is the existence of the laboratory of the gods, which is building a country of future science and technology, seeing this scene is stunned. Wherever I can think of it, there is a big world hidden here. Soon, he saw another surprising scene. The traces left by the Leviathans. Although Levi Garrison pierced all Leviathans with a sword that day, causing their bodies to explode. But finally there are still traces left. In this base, it is even more obvious. After all, the size is too big, there are more than 3,000. Could it be? Could it be? At this moment, the Dark Devourer seemed to realize something. Is it possible that this is where Leviathan is trapped? Then all the Leviathans are dead? No one left? What Dr. Dark said is right.